Good evening, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Time for Change call for 9 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. I'm going to cover a few things tonight. Just to give an overview here, we're going to discuss, or actually give a thorough understanding of the National Economic Act that a lot of people have heard of and have read a lot of things about. We have a gentleman who comes to our calls frequently who is well-versed. I've been working with Nesara since the 90s. So, but we'll have a period of time during the call that we can really cover it for anybody that has heard it. It's never gets old. It's always good to refresh our memories of the information. And, we look at the planet, and obviously this planet's very important to us because we live here, and its condition is very important as well. So, you're going to start seeing grassroots reports on the health of the planet that are going to be positive instead of all of the negative stuff. And, I've been talking to people for a long time and sharing with them that, there's two sides to the coin. And mostly people always hear about the shape and condition of this planet and how bad it is and we're in trouble and, we may not survive and on and on and on. So the positive part is that there's certain, you can't find this information. You have to really, really dig a lot of the times because it's on purpose. It's covered up and buried. It's hidden in little nooks and crannies of information that you have to peel back, and you peel enough, and then you'll discover it. And such as the ice caps. They say the polar ice caps are melting. Actually, where they're melting, they're also growing. See? So, but no one talks about that. They don't talk about the growing ice caps. They just talk about how they're disintegrating and, we're in deep trouble and, continue on and on and on. You understand that this planet 10, 12,000 years ago went through massive devastation. It went through massive floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, all kinds of tectonic plate shifting, major, huge tsunamis that washed out entire cities that happened on planet Earth. But you realize that all of the things that happened, then you have new life, you have an upsurge in changing and things reorganizing and regenerating and growing. And recently an article came out from Health Ranger. I'm sure, I've received a few of those from people, and basically stating that the forests are growing. Our trees are growing by quite a bit. And CO2, because the reason they're growing is because the carbon dioxide, the CO2, and they're expanding and starting to populate areas of the planet where there, have been elimination of plants, of trees. And you understand that, they call the climate cultists call CO2 a pollutant, okay? And it isn't. Now they're showing that the rising CO2 levels are actually expanding forest coverage across the planet. In just the last few years, tree coverage has grown a whopping 7%. And as CO2 levels rise, forest, food crops, and grasslands will recover and spring back to life. And if you want to read about that, you can go and get it at Science Today. and read the full article, because it's always important that we get the truth and nothing but the truth. And the human race has had nothing but lies. And I've always talked about the deception in the curtain and the lies that are perpetrated on the human race on a continual basis. So when you realize that, everything that is said that is about doom and gloom, you have to kind of, in a lot of cases, you have to kind of switch it or reverse it, and then you get to the truth. And so what's happening is, and we're not alone, okay? We do have off-worlder civilizations that are on this planet assisting with the refurbishing of our climates, our atmosphere, our oceans, as far as cleaning up things. There's several oil wells on Earth that have never been capped and never sealed. They just have let them just spew toxic crude into the ocean for years and years and years. And, we are starting to eliminate the dead zone. The dead zones actually mean that there is no oxygen in the water. Say, the phytoplankton's dead, and that's why the water's just dead. So basically, if we don't get enough oxygen, we aren't here. And see, now with the massive amount of CO2 in our atmosphere, trees flourish on carbon dioxide. Isn't that amazing? So the more carbon dioxide, the more trees are going to grow. And on top of that, the more oxygen they will produce. So isn't it, and I've said this before, the trees take in carbon dioxide, CO2, and we breathe it out. They take it in. They breathe out oxygen. Here's another reversal. They breathe out oxygen, which we need. So they oxygenate us, our lungs, our bodies, and all of the planet, and and they help with our atmosphere and cleaning the atmosphere. You always heard that if you put plants in your environment, a few, actually as many as you can, they give off oxygen and they cleanse the air. They have a natural filtering process and they cleanse the air. And less and less people use plants because you got those fake things that you can buy at the stores that are just collect dust and they look nice, and you don't have to do anything with them, but they don't do anything. They may serve a purpose. So plants are phenomenal. And see, in the oceans we have the dead zones, and the dead zones, and it's really hard to get a accurate reading of the dead zones on Earth's oceans because there's so much skewing going on with information. There's so much intervention and misdirection of information. That includes maps, includes graphs. You really have to be careful of the sources wherever you get it, no matter how authoritative those sources may seem, no matter how much education they seem to carry. You have to be careful on what you're looking at in those graphs and maps, period. Even satellite images can be altered before they're picked up. So they literally can be re-oscillated or regrouped and give out a different image. So anything is possible in the advanced abilities and technologies of off-world. So when you realize that the trees, that's why I always say to people is go out, be around the trees. Just sit there. A lot of people through the years have been laughed at because they've been called tree huggers. Oh, there's a bunch of tree huggers. But it's a connection that we have. When I talked last time on the health call about earthing and grounding our bodies, our physical bodies, is very important, but most people don't do that because they've constantly caused human race to become, sheltered, to not interact with the natural environment, to not respect it, and to get further and further away. This is all about separation, guys. It's all about separation. It's all about separating you from your natural, healthy environment. Therefore, if you get separated in other generations, the younger generations are separated. You know that some children in the inner cities do not know where fruits and vegetables come from. They believe they come from the grocery store. That's where they think they come from. That's their idea of where they come from. It's pretty sad that humanity has allowed itself to be so separated from its natural environment. See, and the earth heals. Earth knows all of your ailments as soon as you touch the ground with your bare feet on the earth. It starts reading and understanding. Gaia does what your body needs. So, we're all about lifting and rising humanity and rising them up, everybody. And, nobody better than anybody. It's the same all at once. It's a blanket of humanity rising up and becoming aware and clear. And then when they look at things, they start realizing and put two and two together, and they start saying, everybody has the God spark. Everybody is connected to the Creator, to Prime Source Creator God. It's all connected. And when you know that, you have a hotline literally to Prime Source Creator God inside your body. And so that's why there's signals are always trying to interrupt the signal. Why do you think that they're in a hurry to put up 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G? Why do you think they're making a mad rush to put all this technology up that will scramble our brains and intercept our waves, our theta, beta, all these wonderful waves that come in from Prime Source Creator, God, are interrupted, see? They're sporadic. And that's why they do this, is to literally cut off our communication with Source. And when you become aware and clear, understanding that you are the commander, you're the master of your higher self, and you combined master the mind. The mind doesn't master you. And in your heart mind, which is very, very much more so powerful than your mind, than your brain mind. So the heart mind, feeling and absorbing and understanding, and then controlling, mastering your mind, your thoughts. Mastering your thoughts. It sounds a lot easier than it is. But mastering your thoughts and understanding, this all comes together in unity with humanity about the planet that we walk on, that we live on. And this planet is going through a change, as each and every single one of us are. I can't tell you how many emails I get. People say, I went to the doctor. Doctor doesn't know what's wrong or anything. I'm having this, and this go on. And there are literal cures for everything that the human body experiences. Okay? So, there's so many wonderful things that it's hard to cover everything. So you just have to skim the surface of it. And when you, and a lot of you are starting to, you realize you're starting to pick up on the fact that we're healing this planet along with other beings that are assisting. So it's a group effort. And when you concentrate on clear skies, for instance, when you concentrate on clean water, beautiful trees and foliage, healthy soil, beautifully clean air, you imagine walking up to a stream and being able to cup your hand and drink it knowing that it is super healthy for you, super good for you, and without a second thought. You can't do that today. You can't do it. They found pollution in our waters way, way up in some of the highest areas on Earth. So now there's a reversal that's going on. They don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to know about the reversal. They want you to continue to believe that that we're all in trouble and everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket and we're just all doomed. It's going to be absolute chaos and a mess. But when you realize something, and this is so crucial for all of us to understand, is that we are the masters. We always have been. When you're constantly bombarded, and generation after generation, and you're taught certain things because your parents were taught certain things, and their parents were taught certain things. They were mentored by their parents' 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 parents as time goes on through the generations. So you get a separation because of the controlled media, because of the basic archaic Neanderthal control factor that these dark ones have on the planet. It's becoming, a lot of people are starting to realize how ridiculous and ludicrous the whole thing is that, we're going to destroy the planet, and we're going to wipe out the human race, and we're just going to have a handful of slaves to serve us after we've killed the entire planet and the ecosystem and everything else. It's total insanity. So you reverse that energy and basically start looking at the facts. So what can I do? What can people do? So there's a lot of people that say, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Okay? And the mentality is that they believe that they can't do anything, that they're not able to do anything. So they get frustrated, stressed, anguish, depression, and all of the things that are unpleasant that so many human beings experience. And none of it's necessary. And they aren't mastering. They are not the master. The mind masters them. Thoughts are mastering them. They don't know it. A lot of people don't know that. But it's eventually going to come to pretty much a crescendo here very shortly, that we have reversed the direction of the demise of planet Earth and the human race. We've reversed it. Of course, they don't want you to know that. They just want you to continually cower and be in fear minute after minute, day after day. See, so that we can provide that energy for them on a continual basis. It's old energy. It's dank. It's old. Doesn't serve a purpose. Doesn't create anything. Just basically destroys and deteriorates anything that shines bright. So we literally shift gears and we start saying to ourselves, well, how can humanity change all this stuff? Well, it's already happening. It's happening through the meditations we do every day. And I cannot tell you how many emails I get from people all over this planet that tell me they've witnessed things, they've seen things, they send me pictures. It's just a constant stream of things that are happening on this planet, in its atmosphere, everywhere, that people are aware of. They're becoming clear about it. They're looking up in the sky now. They're viewing things. They're starting to notice stuff. And they're coming alive and they're coming awake. And their higher self, their God spark within them, is communicating with them without interruption. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's just spectacular. That's going on all across the planet. And when I see what people are what they want to do with projects, thousands and thousands of projects, people share what they're going to do, their commitment level, what they like. This energy is absolutely off the charts. It's such a high vibrational frequency to think that way, to feel that way, because we literally all give. When we give, the receiving's automatic. We don't give to receive. We just give because we enjoy it. We enjoy the euphoria that it gives to us. And imagine this, that humanity continually moves into the direction of that giving to each other. And it could be thought, assistance, labor assistance. It could be just sending good energy and vibrations to people and to things on the planet, and sending it every day. I would like to see these people healthy, happy, and living in a clean environment, having clean water. All people on the planet. I'd like to see no starvation, so I'm going to visualize. I want this to be for everybody. We want the wealth of this planet distributed amongst the human race. That's the bottom line. We do not care. We are not interested in expending our energies to the dark agenda. We are interested in expending our energies for all of humanity so that we can experience the shift of bliss, happiness, and joy that spreads throughout all humanity. So people start coming up and start desiring to help one another. And it spreads, and it continues to spread. And it's not just temporary, and it's continual. And this feeling, this energy, transforms all of these lower vibrational frequencies that people experience day in and day out across the planet. The illnesses, the sicknesses, the fear, the poverty, the pain, the sorrow, the anguish. And it's interesting because all of us, feel it every single day. You see, that's what people don't realize. Why is humanity on a low ebb? Why are they always in this valley? Why is there conflict and hatred and discrimination and segregation and all of this stuff that goes on a continual basis, decade after decade, generation after generation? And it breeds, and we are energy centers. Each of us. We have with that God spark, that higher self that vibrates at a much higher frequency than our bodies. It literally, and as our bodies have a low frequency, our higher self sinks in the body. And it should be floating above your head, the higher self, the God spark. But I haven't met anybody that is quite that far where their higher self is floating above the head, above the body. But in reality, it's for everybody across the planet. All the gurus, all of the masters, everyone, to come together without the ego and how much they have and what they have, this and this and that, but together as humanity, that we come together and we start accelerating and sending that energy out on a higher frequency. All of you, and you've heard me say this before, when you're in a happy moment or happy time, I guarantee all of you say it's wonderful. But it's never sustained, see, because of how we've been trained and taught. Saying, it's not going to last forever. No. And then we have that little voice comes in and says, when's the other shoe going to fall? When's that? Because this can't last forever. I can't feel this way forever. How can I feel this way forever? So, but you can. Because if you literally understand the fact that once you understand your God center, your heart, in your heart center, is your higher self, which is a direct conduit and hotline to Prime Source Creator God. Once you understand that, once that connection you have verified that connection, you then begin to realize that you are happiness. And I talk about this in the meditations. You are happiness. You are bliss. You are abundance. You have all of those things. That's what makes you up. That's what makes your higher self up. Isn't it interesting that the dark agenda has been able to convince humanity that they aren't those things, that they have to struggle, that they have to scrape and crawl and get beaten up and everything under the sun just to live. When it's all this time has been the opposite. That this place that we're located at, this planet, is meant for us to enjoy as an Eden, which also allows us to connect with our higher self and also view all life on this planet and all inhabitants with the highest amount of respect and honor. Now picture that scene of all humanity. Picture it. What will happen We respect the ecosystem, the environment, each other. We care for one another. We support one another. All of us, period. We drop this it's almost like what is it, an addiction for things, for buying and having things and getting more things and buying and getting and get some things, and fighting over things because of price reductions and everything, like just insanity, crazy. And that's what they want. They want that, period. So when you rise and you elevate your energy and you work on sustaining that with your higher self, everything changes. All the things that you have been running after your whole life start coming to you in different ways. They show up. And the reason because you actually acknowledge that they're showing up, because before you were totally blinded. Because you were so full of strife and stress and worry and fear, because these are all common things that humanity experiences on a daily basis. So imagine we're all connected. We all are one. We came from the source, from Prime Source Creator God. So we're all connected. We're all one. And we operate as conduits of learning experiences and physicality in the physical world. And so imagine if that's the case, like a diagram of your your veins and arteries running through your body, like a tree branching out all over the place, that we feel sorrow and anguish all across the planet, all of us, wherever we are. We feel it. Now, understand that, which I'm sure most of you are, is once we come to the grips and understanding of that, then we start saying, well, we've got to concentrate on healing ourselves, humanity, which is ourselves, which is everything, which is all humanity, which means that people that are suffering in different parts of the planet, we start concentrating on, we don't care to have that. We want humanity healthy, strong, happy, and vibrant all across the planet, wherever they may be. Doesn't matter, all this garbage about color of skin and religion and all of these man-made distractions for humanity to become angry and critical and prejudiced. All of this stuff is washed away, because then where is our focus? Our focus is working on making sure that the entire population, the inhabitants of this planet, are all healthy and happy. Everyone, right? No one is an exception. Everyone is happy and healthy. This energy flows within every single one of us. This healing energy, this ability to reach out and touch our brothers and sisters on an ongoing basis without much effort, but with clearness and understanding yourself, loving yourself, and being connected with your highest self, which then increases your vibrational frequency, where you start to concentrate on things where you become happier. Because inside, remember, the happiness is inside of you. It's not outside, it's inside of you. So the happiness is then, it kind of blossoms out. The happiness and the joy that you are, literally, and it has nothing to do with your vibrational frequency from the, outside of the, what goes on outside your body, which happens outside your body, which the mind influences you, masters you, and then dictates to you on how you're going to feel through your heart mind, through your heart center. So when that happens, you get depressed. You have anxiety. You have stress. You have fear. You have worry. All of those things. We all experience them. And so why do we have those is because we're out of balance. We're not in that vibrational harmony of our higher self, our God spark. So wouldn't you think, okay, if humanity knew and they felt it, they weren't told it, but they felt this vibration, and they knew that it was true, and they knew what it would bring to them, what it would open up for them, their motivation would turn to healing each other, to helping each other, to assisting each other. You don't have to go run off on a mission and go heal a village. I'm talking about how you feel in your heart and in your mind. See, once you balance yourself, once you come into yourself, once you understand that you love yourself, your pure eternal love, and when that love is acknowledged by you without guilt, okay, without feeling undeserving, and then beginning to understand that you have this all along, that you have the power to shift into a higher vibrational frequency where your happiness, your joy, your bliss, your health is all sustained. It's just, it doesn't go away. Now imagine that. I'm sure you've met people at times that you've gotten around that are vibrant and happy and always laughing, and they always seem to just feel, they in fact, they give you a good feeling because you're part of them anyway. Now when you see those people, understand that that's part of you. And the reason they come into your life is because they're showing you who you really are. And some people get irritated at people like that because they don't understand. They don't have the connection with themselves. They don't understand that energy, that human is showing them who they really are. That's why they come into your life, and that's why you feel so good when you're around them. And now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know that, but they literally exude that. And this isn't wishful thinking. As the controllers of the planet would wish you to believe that this is all garbage, that it has no validity, that all that vibrational frequency stuff is just crap, and that's all there is to it. You're supposed to be miserable. You're supposed to be unhappy. That's the way life is. You're supposed to struggle. Now, I'll guarantee you when you're happy and your life is fulfilling and joyous and your stress is very low and you just are floating and you love yourself and you love humanity and this planet and you respect life, you will learn so much more, so much quicker, and so much advanced-wise than you could imagine. Think about that. When you're depressed, when you're stressed, when you're challenged with fear, anxiety, all of those things that we're bombarded with, it's difficult to move forward, isn't it? It's like you're wading through an ocean of slimy, dark, green, black goop, and no matter how strong you are, it is an effort to pull up one leg after the other to get through the goop, to wade through it. And the shoreline ahead looks like, holy cow, it never seems to get any closer. Your attention, your energy is always going to that, surviving. Imagine when you're happy and when you're joyous and you feel good inside and out, you have more direction and concentration to learn more, to view more, to take in more, because you've simplified your energy, you've raised it, you've risen, rise, and it just infiltrates everything, your thoughts, your feelings, and then when you start understanding, you say, wait a minute, I can master I'm the master of what I think. You have over 60,000 questions that come into your mind daily. Think about that. Over 60,000 questions that come into your mind daily, right? But when you're the master, you pick and choose. See? If you decide that you want to think, I want this planet to be pristine, I see it, I feel it through my heart center, through my heart mind, which is very much, has much more power than your mind does. And you start realizing that you're not just little old me. And how many people have you heard say that? I'm just little old me. I don't know what you expect I can do. See, that's that thing of saying that you're undeserving, that you don't, you feel guilty. You shouldn't have that ability. But every one of us do. So the key here is unification. That's our key. Unifying, coming together, and identifying that we are all one. We're connected. The reason we're connected is that source creation, prime source creator God, Mother, Father, God, created us. They created, we came from them, our spark, our God energy inside these bodies, our God spark, however you want to say it. People say spirit, soul, higher self, God spark. And whatever resonates with you, but that's where it is. It's within the body, okay? The body's temporary. The spirit, the soul, is forever. So all of you have been here many times. You've been on this planet many times. You have reincarnated here over and over again. You have been in every position. You have been every color. You have been every gender. I mean, you've ran the gamut. You're all here because you chose to be here at this time, this change. A lot of you have been in Atlantis before it fell. Lemuria, Mu, a lot of places throughout the ages. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Coincidence was put into our vocabulary to explain things away that we don't understand. So we just say, oh, it's just a coincidence. There's no such thing. When you experience something and you come across something, you look at it from all sides and understand and comprehend the fact that the reason this is going on. It could be a spider crawling across the floor at the same time that you see it. These things they might sometimes be minute, but they're telling you, they're communicating with you. All life is communicating with you 24/7 on this planet. Think about that. Feel it. Embrace it. When you embrace others, even those you don't know, with eternal love, with love, it changes everything. You've seen it. We've experienced it here and there on how bright humanity can shine, how spectacular humanity can be. And we've only begun. We're a very, very, very young species, very, very young civilization. They try to make you think that we're really old, but that's more of their shenanigans. So you realize and feel this for yourselves. What I'm sharing with you is not to convince anybody. It is my opinion, and is what vibrates with me, and it's all the things that I've been exposed to during this life for the last several years, last 40 years, where I've experienced things, seen things, interacted with things. All of us go down a dark path in our lives, and some of us come out, some of us don't, okay, because it consumes you. It keeps you there. But others come out. And we're yin and yang, that circle that you see, the oriental, that Asian circle, that's the dark and the light, the dark side and the light side of us. And I'm going to tell you something. When you embrace your dark side, because we all have them, but a lot of us ignore and try to evade and just, no, that's not true. But when you turn to your dark side and you embrace it and you give it eternal love, it becomes light. See? It's just like with any problems that you're faced with. If you turn and you face the problem, you embrace it with eternal love, and you say, hi, I love you, and you embrace it, as unusual that may seem to some people, or out of their comfort zone, it is probably the best way to dispel these mirages that come into your thoughts. Mirages, like you see out in the desert of an oasis that's not there. It's your mind telling you it's there. So once you start to realize that you are a bright light that illuminates the dark, that's what you are. And in that body, that bright light is full of joy, abundance, happiness, phenomenally good health, unselfishness, a continual flood of all of the things that humanity desires. Now think about that for a minute, that humanity desires those things all the time, chasing them all the time. And on some occasions they get a taste of it, but it's not forever. It doesn't last. It dissipates. It's interrupted, so on and so forth. But if you have challenges and you're happy and joyous and you love yourself, those challenges are not a challenge. They're an adventure. They come and they go. And you keep attracting more and more of positive, reinforcing, energizing. Where you rise, you keep going up. And if you look into vibrational frequencies and you understand that everything has a vibration, your furniture, your body, the planet, Schumann resonance, 7.83. If you look at all of the vibrational frequencies, how they affect everything, and what happens to living water, and what happens when it's frozen, and what happens when it's liquid, what happens to it when you play horrible music, and what happens to it, and you've seen the research and the studies and the books, you start to realize something here, that, wait a minute, there is a validity to everything I'm sharing with you, that it's a validation of our true existence, which is pure eternal love on the inside and out. And when we get to that point as humanity, everything, every single thing changes. The doom and the gloom, gone. It cannot survive. It cannot survive. You cannot take a third dimensional frequency and put it in a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, a eighth, a ninth. It will not survive. It cannot adjust. It will dissipate and it will vaporize. It won't exist. It'll be drawn back to the great central sun. So these are all things that, this information comes in, and I'm a messenger, and I am here to serve humanity, and I am here to do whatever I can to give them whatever tools or awareness that they need so that they can rise and that they can see clearly, period. And when you start loving everyone on the planet, and you don't look at the surface, you look at inside the light. You see their light. It's inside of them, like you. And when your light touches theirs, it's miraculous. I can guarantee you something. You're out. Run this little test for yourself. First, elevate yourself. Think about things that you're grateful and thankful for. And be happy. I walk around all the time and I say to myself, I'm happy. When I wake up in the morning, I'm happy. Before I get out of bed, I'm happy. It doesn't matter what's going on around me, because that'll dissipate. It just can't exist where I bring my vibrational frequency. It cannot. Some people say, well, that's magic. No, it's who we really are. So you you do that, and you're in a floaty, wonderful, kind of a joyous mood. You don't need, you don't need, you can tell people if you want. And then you're out somewhere. You might see somebody. You don't know them, okay? And they might be ornery and irritable, and you can sense their energy. You pick it up. We all do. And you go, oh, geez, I didn't want to be around that person. Even getting around them, I feel uncomfortable. Yuck. And send that person eternal love coming from your God spark to theirs. Send it to them. That's all you got to do. You can stare at the back of their head while you're waiting at the grocery store, and they're bitching at the cashier, whatever. But try that little effort of love to that person and watch what happens. Now, you may not get a sign visibly, but watch what happens to them as they begin to move or walk or go out. You watch what happens. Imagine when you see somebody and you're constantly looking around and you're constantly looking for people to help. All right, you're no longer afraid, worried to help somebody that they might harm you because you'll know and feel the energy. You come out of a grocery store or a building supply place and there's someone there, and you just, hey, can I help? Do you need any help? Or someone at a grocery store that's, trying to reach something and they can't get it because they're too short. You just automatically go up and do it. I do that all the time. I do it at grocery stores. I do it at building supply place. Wherever I go, I do that. Can I help you? And you ever notice that there's times when you're walking and you see something going on with somebody and you say, inside of you want to help them, but then something else pulls you back and you go, no, I don't, It's almost like introversion. It's almost like you're shy. You don't want to do that. But when you love yourself and you love them, it's immediate. You just go right over there and say, ma'am, can I help you? Let me help you with that. And that's it. You don't expect anything in return. Period. And it's just amazing what happens. Now imagine on a daily basis, humanity starts doing that, and it spreads. Not just once in a while, okay? Because that happens once in a while anyway. But we start realizing that if I'm going to I respect myself, I love myself, so I'm going to respect and love everyone. That's a tough order with how we view things and how we were taught and how we were trained from the day we were born to adulthood. See, that's a tough one because we have all these ingrained things, perspectives, ideas that are swirling around in our heads. We have prejudices. We have all kinds of things that come up. So that's what tells you that you have to clean the cupboards. You need a checkup from the neck up. You need to clean the cupboards, which means that you begin to realize, you turn to yourself and you say, I've got to align myself and balance myself, my physical self with my higher self, and be in peace, and meditate. And that's why eventually when all of humanity meditates, and it will happen, and when there'll be a time of the day or a time where humanity meditates across, everything changes each time. And the air is filled with love and joy and prosperity and great health and all kinds of wonderful feelings and energies just bathe humanity. Picture that on a daily basis, unending. So the motivation for humanity is the joy that they feel inside, that they see, that they express to all their brothers and sisters on the planet. And this is connected with everything that's going on this planet. Everything that people see on the TV. All of this song and dance, dog pony show that is a mirage is all it is. It is mind foolery to convince that this is your life. This is what you're involved with. This is what your attention should be spent on. not healing yourself, not feeling joy, not being happy. But this stuff, it should be on your mind. You should be fearful. You should be worried. You should be hoarding things. You should be doing this. Believe me. I'll give you an example. In the event that planet Earth is blown up and we're all gone, what good does it do to hoard and to prep and to do all that stuff? I used to be one, I know. I used to be a prepper years ago. What does it do? Say? Doom and gloom. Here's the problem. When you think in that energy and that direction, you give it more energy. You give it more power. You participate in its very creation as a human with your higher self. You lower that vibrational frequency, therefore you create it. The more attention it is given, the more reality it becomes. That is a proven fact. Research it. Look at it. You'll see it as clear as a bell ringing. So when you shift gears and you say, I'm going to put my attention on joy, love, peace, prosperity, and health for me. I'm going to go inside myself. I'm going to find my peace. I'm going to start respecting myself and love myself. That's key, because once you make that connection, which you all see, that's what you already are, but you're disconnected. Once you connect and you start doing it on a daily basis, you then understand, you start seeing, you start feeling, you start breathing better, you start hearing better. Things just start getting clearer and clearer. And you look at humanity in a whole different way. You know, you don't go out in public and say, good Lord, look at that person. Oh, my gosh, look at that person. Oh, what's going on there with that? And this and that. You just see lights, balls of lights in the bodies going around. Okay? And when you see the prophets throughout history, when you see Jesus of Nazareth, when you read about what he did, that's what he saw. He saw the prime creation energy, prime source creator God energy in every single human. So he didn't care. He didn't care that a leper had leprosy. He wasn't worried. He see, those things, there was no fear. There was no fear. And so if you read about Buddha and you read about these different prophets throughout the ages, and you get the true story of them, not the falsified stories, but the true stories, you start to realize and you start to pick up the fact that, hey, wait a minute, do you think you are any different than he was from what was housed in his body and what you have in your body? Do you think you're any different? Now, when things get distorted and they get blown out of proportion and you're blown off of your vibrational frequency and you fall and you go deep into a lower vibrational frequency, your vision becomes clouded, blurred. Your receptivity, your perception is altered. So it's hard for you to differentiate between what's the reality here, and what's the show, and what's real, what's false here. I'm going to tell you right now that most of it, all of it, just about all of it is false. Period. It's false. The truth is what's hidden. That's why all this effort constantly swirling throughout the years and ages is always about how much fear can we implement into humanity. And when you give that some thought, you start putting two and two together. So wherever you see doom and gloom, and you see people reporting doom and gloom, their intentions may be right to try to inform everybody about it. But the trick here is that they have been seduced to create and give it power. See? Because we're all co-creators. You give it power when you put so much attention on it. And usually the attention you put on it is fear and belief. Because if you fear it, you're creating it. So these are things that you know, and it's not often on a major scale discussed. It's, you know, things are always seem to be so complicated, and my effort is to keep things simple and to understand that, you know, a simple explanation is that you have a ball of light, plasma energy, that was created by Prime Source Creator God, which is not who was not a created being, who created you, and, you know, that you came from that source. You came from Father, Mother, God. You came, part of you is part of them in the body. Body is a temporary suit to carry your spirit, your soul, your higher self around in a physical world so that you can experience and have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to enjoy ourselves. We're not here to slave. We're not here to struggle. We're not here to feel ridiculous pain, sorrow, and anguish and all of the crap that's been thrown at us. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to enjoy things, expand, progress, create, beauty, joy, love, peace, prosperity, and bliss, all the things that we contain. We're a vessel. This vessel contains all of that. The vessel within it is pure eternal love. That's how it just blossoms all the time. When you come into it, when you realize it, that's exactly what takes place. It's like a metamorphosis. So it's just food for thought, things to contemplate. All of you that come to the meditations, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a couple of Q&As here, and then we're going to introduce Jim. Jim is going to share Nesara, point blank, without, you know, going into, you know, hours and hours of explanation, because you really could do that. But to kind of go into Nesara, which everybody wants everybody to believe that Nesara is a joke. It was just invented. It doesn't mean anything. That's always the way, see. It's always the way. It's never validated by the truth, the actual so-called leaders of society. It's never, all the good things are never given attention by the dark, ever. They're always discredited. They're always cut down. They're always ripped apart, constantly being attacked to convince everybody that it's all crap and it's garbage. It isn't, say. And the funny thing is that when you haven't heard of it, when the things come along that you haven't heard of much, that's a signal to find out about them. That is your higher self saying, now, wait a minute here, Bill. That one right there, go find out about that, period. So this country, North America, and all the governments on this planet are going to be shrunk, every one of them, okay? Our government's going to shrink way down compared to what it is. Probably about 2/3 it'll shrink. So the American people can monitor it much closer, so that we don't have all these shenanigans and ridiculous amounts of money being thrown around like drunken sailors with no respect to the American people. Really. The American people haven't had any respect pretty much ever. It's just all been a dog and pony show. It's all been a joke. And so these governments will be reduced. The ones that don't work for the people will be gone. I'm putting this in the simplest terms I can. And I'm talking about cities, states, I'm talking about townships, parishes, all across America. I'm talking about the current judicial system will be gone, period. It won't operate. The flags that are trimmed in gold with the tassels under control of the Crown of England will be gone. The civil flag, which we do have, the civil flag, people can buy it. will be our flag, not the military flag, because the Stars and Stripe is a military flag. Wherever you hang that flag gives the military the right to take that property, to occupy that property. That's what that flag was used for. It's a military flag. Okay? And the people in this country were taught that that's your flag. Well, have you ever noticed that those colors were always flown? In that order, the colors in the order they're in, was always flown during war, during the Revolutionary War. We had Old Glory, see? And then we kept progressing. Every war we've been in, we flew that flag. We fought for that flag. We fought for a flag. Okay? So the civil flag is our peace flag. Wouldn't that be nice for the first time in this country's history? We will not be at war. We will not be at conflict. We will be at peace. And we will help the rest of humanity prosper and grow and expand. We will help other countries prosper, grow, and expand. See? We will become a supplier of food for the planet. Things are going to change. There will be no poverty in this country. Zero. There will no longer be corrupt governments raping and pillaging the people every single day and laughing about it. The pedophilias will be vanished from the planet. The sex, slavery, and trafficking that goes on constantly and has gone on for centuries will be eliminated. And everything that goes on this planet, the people of the community will know what's happening. No longer will the wool be pulled over their faces. No longer will they be lied to. No longer will there be meetings behind closed doors with city councils and other governmental bodies across this country that keep most of it secret from the people. And so they tax the people constantly, mostly illegally, without the people's consent. That's all going away. That's the truth. See, that's the true aspect of things. They don't want you to put any attention on that. They want you to stay worried, stressed, and feared all the time. Now, you're all co-creators, so doesn't it make sense that if you want to create something, and your desire is very strong, and it's with love, aren't you going to spend time doing that rather than spending time giving the dark and doom and gloomy attention? Because by now, everybody, if you believed everything you're being told, we're all gone anyway. So what's the use? Okay? Over and over again, we're supposed to be gone all the time. We're constantly supposed to be gone. Y2K, that was a big debacle. 2012, people made money off of books and everything. I read all the books. A lot of them talked of doom and gloom. A lot of people did videos on them. You can go on YouTube and watch them. All the doom and gloom and how planet Earth was going to be devastated and we were all going to die and it was the end of humanity and the end of civilization as the Mayan calendar stated. It just went on and on and on. It was absolutely ludicrous. And guess what? It was a spiritual shift. It wasn't destruction and upheaval and damage and death and all the carnage and everything. Okay? We remember that Satan is a master of lies. So that's why everything's a lie. That's why the mass media lies all the time. That's why all these things happen. That's why they go on all the time. That's why they're being exposed left and right every second of every day. So what we'll do now is, like we did before, we're going to go in. I'm going to unmute people, and then people can come into the queue. And we want to make sure that if you have background noise, that if you have anything going on, you might not be aware of it because you might not think your phone's picking it up. You put the headset down, you're doing dishes, or you're wrinkling, potato chip paper or whatever, and it's real noisy, or you've got dogs barking or kids or something. That comes in, and so people, when asked questions, it's disrupting, and it's hard to concentrate. So what we want to do is I'm going to unmute And I'm going to mute so everybody can unmute themselves. So I'm going to do that. And then people can come in, and I'm going to call out the number, okay, the area code of the person or the first name of the person, and call them to come on in and ask their question. I think that works better rather than having a frenzy of everybody saying, Jared, and then I got to pick the voice out that came in first. So let's try that and respect each other's presence and do that, and then we'll do a Q&A, and then we'll introduce, we'll have Jim come on after a couple of questions and stuff, and then we'll have Jim talk about Nesara, and then we'll have some Q&A, and try to field, the point is try to field as many questions as we can. That's why when people come in, of course, I'm overflowing with wanting to share the information with somebody, so I'll talk too long, and because of my enthusiasm of wanting to give as much as I can to that person, so I have to, kind of cut it so that I can get other people in, so that they can ask questions too, and we can cover more people. It just makes sense that way. So sometimes I do have to give a lengthier answer because I want to make sure that it's covered and as clear as possible. So we'll...
Good.
Okay, so now I'm going to call out... Let's see, let's go with 352. 352. All you got to do is *6 yourself to unmute yourself. Okay, 352 dropped out. Let's go with 858. Okay, 858, unmute yourself. *6. I don't think this is working too well. I don't know why. We got a whole bunch of people wanting to ask questions, but we don't have anybody asking questions, so it's funny. So, okay, we have Anonymous.
Jared?
Yes.
Hi, it's Byron in Toronto. How are you, brother?
Good, Byron. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. I'm just making a suggestion here. I'm using Skype, and as you're well aware, whatever one's landline exchange may be, I doubt that it'll register for any of the callers because if they are using Skype or some other similar type...
That's a good point. We might just have to do an open forum then, and you're right, because I've got people coming in on VoIP, I've got people coming in on the Internet, I've got people coming in on Skype.
Yeah.
So it's not a conventional, that's a good idea. I think what we'll do, thank you for that input, I think we'll do is we'll just ask people to speak up and ask a question. That's probably the best way to go.
So could I just say something to you, brother?
Sure.
We spoke last Monday, and I was telling you about, it was on the healing modality type call, and I was telling you about certain things I had. And you said, well, just send me an email and put your phone number in there and just put Byron Astrologer, which I did.
It.
You got it, eh? So what what I need to know, Jared, is how I don't want to miss your call. So is there any way of getting a quick email saying, listen, call me at a certain time, and I will make sure that I will be there to make a call to you when it's convenient for you, or perhaps maybe for other people as well, because we may not be here at the time that you are blessing us with your call, right?
What I'll do is I'll give you a time frame, and then you can just respond by saying that you can work that. And then that way we'll be able to connect. So
how will I know that, or how will we know that?
Well, I'll send you an email.
Ah, fabulous. Just fabulous. All right. Excellent.
And then that way you can plan on it, and I won't miss you, because I call people, my area code is 970, so I let people know that when you see that come in on, a lot of people won't answer their phone if they don't recognize the number, so if they see a 970, they'll pick up. So I've called a lot of different people, but they just don't pick up. It just, they don't answer the phone.
Because whatever your exchange may be, it may come through someone else's phone system as unknown or anonymous.
That's true.
In that case, people don't. I don't. But and so was thinking since we last spoke, geez, I hope Jared hasn't called because I've seen a number of anonymous on my system here, and my answering machine I've changed. I've got a Russian voice on it, a friend of mine, because I'm getting calls from collection agencies or people wanting to tell me that, your computer's all messed up, sir, and we need to have you to plug it in. So anyway, we get lots of that stuff. So don't get me going on the dialects, because I'm telling you, my friend, a lot of times I have about 25 different dialects and I'm having fun with it, but anyway. So no offense intended.
What I'll do is I'll call and I'll leave you. Actually, I'll send you the email so you get the email, and then we'll set a time.
Great.
And you can just respond and say that's good, and then I'll call you. Wonderful.
And before I let you go, Dr. Quila the other day was talking so much about these patches, which I think is a wonderful interim until the med beds. But there was never given any means, at least that I heard, and I listened to the whole thing, as to where we can get these. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yeah. We'll make sure that we have people, people that are tight on funds, they're able to group together a network. They don't even need to know each other. We've got that going on. We've got people that can afford to get some. We're going to make sure, do everything we can to get everybody that is in need of frequency change to use these patches. See, and then the purpose, like I said, eventually, when we have the financial shift, and everybody is, all the people that are participating in that, which is, there's not a whole lot, comparatively speaking, to the planet's population of 7.6 billion.
Yeah.
The point is that when people get hydrated and the smoke clears and everything, what we're going to do is we're going to literally give them out to people to make sure that we're just going to give them away. We're not working on a profit basis anymore when the shift comes. We're working on an organized way to help our brothers and sisters of humanity to have, basically healthy, happy, prosperous, blissful lives. And the way to do that is that here, what's your problem? What do you have? And then, see, Dr. Quila has gotten so many emails, of course, from the call.
Yeah.
And what's happened is that she's had someone volunteer their time to come to her house and to help her categorize everybody and to put them in order so that she can tend everybody and give them input as far as what their ailments are, what they're feeling, and what they need relief with, so that she can tell them about the certain frequency patches that will be the best to use for them. And what I'll say is to everybody is, make sure that you have, and the key is that 90% of the American people are magnesium deficient. Okay?
Yes.
So if people understand that, magnesium is really cheap. So you can go to a health food store, you can get magnesium in powder, you can mix it in with clean water, not tap water, but clean water, and mix it in and use it in an atomizer spray bottle and spray it on your arm, wherever you want to spray it, every day. All right? And I'm going to watch what happens. People's arrhythmias will disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And they're going to the doctor, they're getting all these prescriptions, they're getting all this stuff. See, I get so passionate when you ask those questions that I start going, because it's so imperative for people to know that, look, you use magnesium and you spray it on your body, and your arrhythmias will go away, your heart health will increase, your cardiovascular system, your balance, everything will improve by using and getting your body up to speed with magnesium. And some people, the doctor will say on the blood test, oh, your magnesium's high. But that person may need more than what the other person needs. So you just can't go by those blood tests all the time. But that's what we're doing with the tags. Now, anybody who is, and I get emails all day, every day, that are asking for the frequency technology. They want to know about it, okay? So what I do is they send me an email, and then I'll give them the information and set it up with Dr. Quila so that she can field their questions and tend to them and take care of them. Now, I'll talk with them if they've got a super emergency and go over some things, and then I'll call her and tell her that I've got this person that's got this, this, and this, and then she'll make room to try to tend to them and talk with them and see if she can help them with the different frequency patches, because I'm telling you, I've been on them for 3 weeks. And I like things that are simple, and I don't like complicated stuff, and things that I can use that are going to work. And these work. They work.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I was thinking about her the other day, too, and how could she's been such a loving soul and saying, hey, give me a call or email me. And I'm thinking that for people she wants to have a one-on-one with, it would be great if she could let people know, let's say a group of 5 or 10 at a time, okay, but in this hour, I'm good to go with you. And let a quick email, a bulk email, like with the same, the paragraph and address to the name of the person. BCC the email so that people who want to benefit from what she has to say will call her on their dime and not have to have her calling every all the different area codes in the states. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I was thinking, that if you're talking to her, that you can let her know that, hey, it's great that you're giving people the opportunity to be helped, but have them call you on your dime, and so that when she calls you or sends an email, a bulk email, say, I'll be good for you people, and there's 10 of you, you'll be good between, say, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. or whenever. Call me then. And then I'll say, well, I'm still busy with one person, and I'll look for your call coming in say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because it's going to be...
Well, better yet, what we're planning on doing, as I said before, is that everybody's waiting for these wonderful off-world technologies to come, but in between we have this stopgap, so we're pouring over all kinds of things to see and determine and to ferret out all the snake oil stuff and to get to the brass nails and tacks of actual working literally remedies for people. And these patches are about frequency. They don't go in the bloodstream. You can put them on your clothes. You don't need to put them on your skin. You can put them on your hat. You put them in your shoe and walk around. But the fact is that these darn things work. And they're that's it, folks. They work. That's all there is to it. There's no hype there. They just work. So if the people, and the point is to get them out to as many people as we can so that they don't have this darn suffering. So they aren't, incarcerated in a hospital and they're getting jacked up with all these chemicals, and then they have all these other failures go on in their bodies. And then plus along the way they get educated. They get educated about their body. They start understanding things. They start putting 2 and 2 together. It's just it's a win-win all the way around on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some conferences. Where people will be able to come, and we will have a conference call. And they can ask questions, and they can start getting educated about vibrational frequency. And there's all kinds of frequencies, but the fact of the matter is that you don't plug these in. That was one of the reasons. You don't have to plug them in. You don't have to put batteries in them. You don't have to use different pads and applications that you have to connect and put on the body. These are for mobility. You can go anywhere on the planet. You can go take a flight, go to a business meeting, and you could be wearing these and no one would know it. It's phenomenal.
I can't wait to be funding you with the med beds like I spoke of you in my letter, the long letter. I don't know if you got it.
Yep, I read it. Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Okay. And also have a bag of patches, and you see someone who's walking really slow or bent over, and I just can't wait to be able to give.
Won't that be great?
God. It just brings tears to my eyes, man. But listen, I'm going to get off this line now so you can have other people talk. I love you, man.
All right, Myron.
Take care, bro.
Thank you too, brother. Okay.
Jared, hi. Can I just ask you to speak louder on the landline phone, just so your voice can carry a little louder and a little stronger? It's just your voice is present, but it's a little bit on the soft side.
How does this sound?
Just work. Just as you talk, all evening if you can continue talking more loudly. And then also, you said on another night that there's a woman who has a website called Lightworkers or something like that who's actually taping these calls and putting these calls up on her site. There was that health call the other night that went on for 4 hours or whatever, and you said that she'd be carrying these.
I haven't released the health call yet, so that's not up on the board. She does all the meditations. Julie Joy, she's with Young Lightworkers, and she posts those meditations on her younglightworkers.com website, and she also posts them, I believe, at the, Intel Dinar Chronicles, it's I think Pat owns the blog, but she posts them there too, almost every day. And she lists all the numbers, all the playback numbers. She lists the times of the meditations. She does a recording, and she put, you can get it on YouTube and listen to the meditation recordings. And also the Time for Change calls, IQD posts those. I have to send them the link after the call records in the back office, and then I send them the link and I label it, and then they post it on their site, and they also put it up on YouTube.
Oh, it's just younglightworkers.com? Is that where we can find these back calls?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's younglightworkers.com.
Okay, and then the last thing quickly is the peace flag, the civil flag that will be the peace flag. I was working for a long time. I actually contacted the UN because I thought the world or the UN or the United States, someone needed an official peace flag, because when you look at that red, white, and blue flag, it engenders like a patriotic feeling. People look at it and it touches them deeply in some patriotic way. And I thought if everyone had a peace flag, and I'm putting together a, like a GoFundMe type thing to just get peace flags made and have people come up with designs for a peace flag so that the world will have a peace flag, just because I think we need one. Yeah,
the civil flag is what it's called, the civil flag. We only flew it for 3 years in this country, and then it was forgotten.
What does it look like? Where is it? What does it look like?
I've got one right here. It's the field. The stripes run. Let me see here. I'll describe it. The stripes run up and down. Okay, and they're red and white. The field where the stars are is inverted, so it's white with blue stars. So you've got red and white stripes running up and down, not the other way, not across, but up and down. And then you have the square with a white field and blue stars.
Okay. I was thinking of a little more joyous of a peace flag, but okay, that's fine. I'll still work on whatever we're working on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, this is Lee from North Carolina.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I wanted to tell you that a week and a half ago, I think I first started with your meditations. And the second meditation I went through, I went to bed in the evening, and I was kind of half awake and half asleep. And I started dreaming of my porch, looking up at the night sky with all the stars. And I do that a lot at night. I'll go out there and I'll look at the stars and see if I can see any UFOs. But this was a dream, but all of a sudden it turned real, like I was actually there. And then I went back, and then I noticed that, and it startled me. And, I started going back to the dream, the look of the dream, and I thought, no, I want to be there. So I went back. It only lasted a few seconds, but it was almost like I was out there looking at the stars.
You were.
I was?
Yep.
How did that happen? What's that all about?
When when you etherically extend your feelings and thoughts and you create a vision or a scene or a happening, and something that you have done physically, so you go out and you sit on the porch, you look at the stars and everything, you get a peaceful feeling usually. And so you communicating through, in the meditation and communicating with your higher self, the higher self basically carried out your wish, your heart's desire wish, to be on that porch and to be in the moment and to experience it in the reality of the moment. So you were there. You were actually there. That's part of what you call a kind of an astral projection, where you are connected to your physical form, and your physical form experiences through the etherical energies of that happening. So you're actually on that. You were there. You say, I swore I was there. It's like when people have certain dreams that they say to themselves in a moment they go, this is real. And sometimes it is real. Other times the mind is mastering the situation or the frequency of the happening. And so the mind plays a little trick that it feels real, but it really isn't. Now, a lot of the times, like your porch dream was real. So you were actually there. You were projected there through your higher self. So you experienced it, say.
Oh, that's really neat, because there was a definite difference.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of people don't connect with that. See, that's neat. Why, that seemed real. Wow, that was real. And in the long term, when they start connecting with their higher self, they start experiencing more and more of that, because they go to bed at night and they're peaceful, and they start saying, I'd like to just, when I go to bed tonight, I just want to visit, or I just want to be able to dream about something peaceful and happy and joyous. And then they let go, and they let their mind dump and all of the stuff that's accumulated through the day, and then they just fall asleep. And a lot of the times they experience and they create that very scene. I've had people tell me that, when I've told them that, find a depiction or a scene that you've had in your life where you felt you were really relaxed and joyful and footloose, fancy-free. And they say, something? I had a dream that I was there again, that I was actually experiencing. And you know what? You were. You absolutely were.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Jared, it's Cindy Taylor. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Cindy.
I have something wonderful to tell you. I love you. I love your soul. I love your enthusiasm. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're just a sweet, sweet, sweet soul. I genuinely love you.
I appreciate that. Love. I'm sending love back to you.
Oh, boy. Well, I'll get off. I just wanted you to know.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, next question. Hello?
This is Susie from Michigan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're kind of like in the background. I can hear you, but you're kind of like not real loud.
Okay. Is this better?
There you go.
Okay. I hate to talk about money when your people love you so much, and I go back to money, but I have to find out if we're not going to have the IRS and all these restrictions on how much money we can give to people. Can we give like a foundation more than $14,000 a year?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So if I was to do something for an organization, which meant buying land and buildings and everything, could I just set up a trust and put them down as the trustees, and then they could just deal with it?
Well, I'll give you an example. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not an accountant. I don't have any specialties. I just want to just disclaim that. But my opinion would be that if a person has a large sum of wealth, and they want to get that wealth to a cause that they know is actually going to get to the people, that, you know, things are going to be done and happen with that money, then, you know, you could literally go to a foundation, a nonprofit, and you could say that maybe that someone has started, someone, you know, it could be a grassroots with a couple of people, you know, 3 board members, and that's about it. And basically they started the foundation so that they could fund their humanitarian project, but they don't have any money. Not everybody's going to have money. I mean, you know, it's just those who do receive wealth will be stewards of distribution of the wealth. So what you would do is you'd go in and you say, hey, look, can I meet with you because I want to give you a donation to fund your project, period. And so they would say, okay, fine. So you would sit down with them and you'd say, okay, can you tell me how much it's going to cost? You know, do you have an executive summary? And what an executive summary is, a fancy word of a couple of paragraphs of what the project involves and what the estimate is of what its cost, its startup cost is going to be. And so when they present that, they say, well, yeah, we've got an idea here. This is what we have. We've talked to these people, and our startup costs, offices, personnel, you know, administration, phones, communication, computers, and all that, that's going to run us, you know, and then we have to have some kind of a salary that we have to pay ourselves so that we can support ourselves. So all in all, this is how much our startup cost we estimate is going to be. And then you say, okay, so do you know what your estimate's going to be on the cost of the project from start to completion, you know? And they say, well, yeah, it is going to run us $300 million, whatever, just throwing that figure out. And you turn around and you say, well, I'd like to fund that, okay? And then what you do to them is that they will report to you on a monthly basis where the money's going, see? So it's up to you if you just want to throw a bunch of money at someone and walk away. But the purpose is that you want that money to go to the people, to affect the people that money's going to, you know, be helping with that project to help humanity. So that's what you would do. Yeah.
Jared, Jim Leavitt, please forgive me for interrupting. I'm sorry, but I can add to all of that if you'd like me to when the time comes.
Yep, I'm going to call you in here in a little bit, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I just want to say I can address that if you'd like me to.
You want to address it right now?
No, go ahead. No, I'll just whenever you're ready. I'll just want to share that with you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Mr. Rand, please.
Yes.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, sir. What do you know about St. Germain and the release of his fundings?
Well, you know that you probably know the history, the true history of St. Germain, where he has been around. He structured the liberal banking system before it was corrupted, and he had a way of you know, in an alchemy, creating gold out of iron ore. I mean, he's had a lot of experience in the financial industry on the planet. So let's put it this way. His fund, okay, is, no one quite knows its location on purpose, but his fund is going to be given, and I'm going to tell you this right now, all of these funds, and see, there's a lot of funds that are ledged, and then there's a lot of funds that aren't ledged. They're not in a bank, they don't have accounts, they're not on the records, let's put it that way, okay? They're not conventional funds. They're not conventional storehouses of wealth. So Germain's will be distributed amongst the people of the planet. It will not go to the government, okay? So his existing wealth that he created centuries ago has been accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Now, it's not sitting in a bank somewhere, all right? All the banking systems are corrupt. So it doesn't make sense to put any kind of wealth in the banks, because the banks will basically obfuscate. They'll just take the wealth and rob and rape and pillage like they've done to so many other accounts. Now, some accounts are protected. They can't breach it. They've tried to borrow credit against some of the accounts. They've been successful on stealing a little bit of the money here and there. But for the most part, his fund along with several storehouses of wealth, and those, follow those words closely, several storehouses of wealth on the planet that have been here for, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100,000, 200,000 years, are going to be moved in to monetization and are going to hydrate the human race, period. So the governments in the new system are, after they're reformed, these governments that you see now are not going to be the governments that will be in the future. They will be governments that will be formed that will literally serve the people, not rape and pillage the people, but serve the people. They'll be reduced in size. There will be a council. The council will make up leaders, elder leaders of the planet. They will be on a global scale. The elders will be the main council. The rest of the governments will operate like they will in peace and prosperity with their people in their different countries. If they have problems that they can't come up with a solution, the elder council will send some of their people to them to actually sit down and to sort it out so that they can come up with a solution and take care of the problem. This means money. This means wealth. All of the distribution channels. In this country, for instance, the whole purpose of this wealth distribution is to eliminate the poverty of the American people and then to give back to them all the money that's been stolen from them through generations of time, which is literally thousands of trillions of dollars. So the American people will be exonerated and rewarded for all of the abuse and all of the trickery that these corrupt corporations running as a government have done to them for literally centuries. I'll put it this way: with the exception of 6 years, the rest of it since we became a country. 6 years we were a country, pretty much, and after that they started infiltrating our Congress. They started infiltrating every area. The Dracos came in and started waiting. They started corrupting things. They started dividing. And then I'd say about 1860 is when they basically took over most of everything, and then they created the civil conflict in this country that some are called it was a war, but it really was never a war, and it basically came in to the fact that the Confederate States did not want this corporation coming in and dictating authority over the states, so that's why they ended up in a conflict. They walked out of Congress. The Confederate States walked out of Congress and said, we don't agree with that. And so the Union said, well, okay, I guess we're going to have to go to it. And since the South was supported by the Queen of England by supporting gold and providing gold to the South to fund their war effort against the North, and basically that's what happened. And the South was poor because all the manufacturing was up north. So the South had to have financial support so that the British would send gunships and metal vessels down the Mississippi to get them into the channel areas to fund the Confederate States during the war, which was instigated by the Crown. It was all created by the actual controllers of the planet, basically. And after that, they took over. The corporation took over. They started incorporating all of the country, all of the states. Then they eventually bought out all the states and incorporated them as entities under the corporation in D.C. So they gave them, well, you'll get a piece of the action. So they bribed them all. And so all of our general assemblies were basically put on the back burner. And all of our law systems of common law and land jurisdiction were put on the back burner. And everybody started incorporating. And all of these, they abandoned their posts that were serving the American people of common law and law of the land and went with these corporations. So you look up on the public records, you'll see all of these states are corporations. They're corporate entities. D.C. is a corporate entity. All of the states, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Arizona, they're all corporations. And all the governments in those states are corporations. So the American people, unbeknownst to them, were stripped of the republic. They were stripped of their common law. They were stripped of law of the land, period. And then you had Delano, I could go on, and Jim will come in, but you go in and you take the process of, these different presidents. Delano Roosevelt set up the Social Security to basically try to pacify the American people, and it was a supplemental income. People today are living off of that, and only 15 million in this country are living on Social Security. It's no different than it was years ago. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people were living on Social Security the same amount, 15 million. So it just hasn't changed. So anyway, what he did is, as you well know, he took and stole all the gold and silver from the American people. He was a very vile individual, and people have revered him, and that's how he was portrayed, as a savior to that generation back during the war. And these people were all criminal, and it's the same today, but it's even worse that these criminals, just picture this. You go to a jail and you pick the worst criminals in that penal system. The worst of the worst criminals. You give them pardons and you give them power and authority over the people. That's about the best analogy I can make of what's going on this planet, this country and other countries. That's why they're above the law. They do anything. That's why when they go to Congress and they're so happy when they become senators and congressmen, because they're set for the rest of their lives. They all become millionaires. Mm-hmm. See? Bernie Sanders he goes in and he's worth over $2 billion. Come on, guys. While there's families in this country suffering, and they're shoving crap where the sun doesn't shine, telling them, "Oh, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you," and it's all a bunch of hooey. It's just garbage. Period. And here's the funny thing: the American people are the authority. They always have been. They've just been tricked over and over again and beat up and pushed into cowering and fear of this establishment that has no authority over them whatsoever. None of it does. You imagine that? Can you imagine a defunct corporation literally passing laws and regulations over the people that they're supposed to be serving, and they're all service corporations? They're no different than a lawnmower agency that's going to come and clean your lawn, do your lawn and keep your grounds clean, or a McDonald's franchise for that matter. They're no different. If you don't like what they're doing, you fire them. The American people have every right to say, look, FBI, you're gone. CIA, you're gone. All of you guys, you're gone. They've got over 90 agencies, three-letter agencies, most of them people haven't even heard of. And that's what happens, see? So they're all laughing to the bank all the time. They got everything, song and dance on the TVs and all this diversion and all these shows and all of this entertainment. This is to keep people busy while they continually rape and pillage the country. American people all should be multimillionaires. And that's a fact. If you go back all the years that they've been raped and pillaged, generation after generation, literally, our streets should be paved in gold. Everybody should have free health. We should have naturopathic, Ayurvedic. We should have all these new technologies that a lot of them were developed back in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 50s, in the 60s. See? So you got me going. That one question, there it went. Boom. Okay.
You're right on. Thank you. Look forward to hearing from Jimmy. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Jared?
Yes.
Hi. One quick question. Has there been any new updates on the med beds?
The updates are is that they're moving the technology for certain groups to have confidential distribution. So here's the understanding. With the plasma med beds, because there's different versions, different technologies, with the plasma energy med beds, they're going to bring them in. The off-world are going to bring them in, and they're going to introduce them to certain groups on the planet. And we are we're going to, and as you well know, we don't have everything cleaned up in this country. We don't have all the bad guys gone, no matter what anybody's saying. They're everywhere. They're at little towns, cities, and villages, and states and stuff. So we've got to be careful on how those are distributed, and they have to be distributed confidentially and protected and secured so people aren't harmed. And then what we do is we will incorporate transport, and we will start affecting healing on people. And the estimate is a minimum of the first year we will be able to treat 25 million plus.
Wow.
Okay. So that's a lot of people.
Right.
And eventually, once we clear all of the goop and the interference out of the way, then we can either start replicating them and then shipping them out from the actual replication center and getting them into the hands of the human race so that they can start using them. We'd have to send, I've got a lot of people that have committed to actually taking delivery of some beds, and then we sit down with them and we give them directives, and they understand the security factors, they understand the ins and outs, they get the blueprints on the manufacturing. Now, if we don't need to manufacture them, we have the replicators, which are supposed to come in behind them, then we should have the replicators that will replicate the beds. We don't know that yet, so I'm not going to commit to that, but I'm waiting to get that information to see if we can use replicators replicate the beds, or for a period of time we will manufacture them in the plants, or we will just be given a certain number and distributed through the different groups on the planet to start affecting the healing. It's basically, this is a global-wide healing of the human race.
Wow.
That's what these are for. Now, they're a stopgap. Understand this. The med beds are a stopgap, just like the technologies that we're sharing with people now. We'll go from those, and then we'll start giving those out, and then we'll go to the med beds and the replicators, and what will happen is, and then the brainwave machine, which will cure all brain anomalies in the head, which is Alzheimer's, dementia, damaged areas. It re-atomizes the brain. So it's a brainwave. It looks like a hairdryer in a beauty salon. So it's the best description I can give of it. And so, the purpose is to heal the entire human race, okay? To eliminate all the diseases and all the infections, all of the crap that they've thrown at humanity. All of these incubation periods, all of these diseases were created. They were created, period. They've destroyed the immune system of humanity. They've been working on it for ages and ages and ages. They introduce all of these strains of virals and bacterias that literally infiltrate society and humanity without them knowing about it. They inject bugs. They manufacture all species of insects, ticks, that will carry these illnesses and will start spreading them throughout humanity before humanity understands what the heck's going on. And then they come in with the fear, the doom, and the gloom. There's no cure. They're announcing now that there's a new strain, that eventually there will be nothing, no antibiotics, which are horrible anyway, that will be able to stave off these infections that are coming and spreading across the planet. See, it's always about fear. This light's coming in, this energy's coming in to clear all of that garbage away so that the human body, for the first time ever, will be strong. The immune system will be healthy. It will be literally regenerating tissue, body tissue, skin, hair, teeth, and eventually humanity will go from that stage to self-awareness, which means they will connect with their higher energy. They will be able to implement self-healing.
Wow.
That'll be the next stage, and that's why I say that the med beds are a stopgap to the advancement as we go vibrationally and frequency-wise. So the humanity is facing this. They're facing these changes, and then they're going to come to a point where they are going to change. The human race is going to change. It's going to, when we talk about ascension, a lot of people don't bring it up. Ascension means that the carbon-based body, the vessel that we have, will change. It will become a crystalline-based body. It will change. When we go into crystalline light chambers and we're in there for 3 days, we will change. We will go through a metamorphosis. As far out as this is sound to some people, it's reality. This is what's going to take place. This is why every human being will have a mentor. Every single human being will have a spiritual mentor. The mentor will adjust, will talk with them, will educate them. Any question they may have will be answered. Nothing will be held back. And the human race will know full truth of their roots, their history, of what the truth is across the board. We cannot move forward as a civilization without knowing the truth. And we've never known the truth. We've always been lied to. It's always been hidden from us. It's always been fibbed and rewritten, and this taken out, and that taken out, and books invented to convince us of these certain things. And we don't know the truth. We will know it all, everything, all the corruption, all the sins, all the crimes committed against humanity are going to come out. And this is not 20 years from now. This is not 10 years from now. This isn't even 5 years from now. So this stuff is coming out. It's going to come out. All of these things are, a lot of people. That's why we're working on the meditations to get people balanced and in position, so their transition will be as smooth as silk, so that they will literally transcend. They will not have a problem. Period. They will not be traumatized.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was great.
Hey, Jared, this is Bob from Michigan.
Yeah, Bob.
What's happening now with our chakra system expanding we're expanding from 7 to 13. I think we have 3 new chakras, making it into, I think, 10 now. And the well of dreams and the thymus, and helping us with our, disrupting the fear factor and our immune systems and what have you. Isn't that what's going on now with the expansion of that?
Absolutely, Bob. What's happening is that, we have a lot of chakras. We've got the center chakras running up through the center of the body in an etheric energy. It's a higher level. It's a higher vibrational frequency, the chakras are. So it's like people say, well, you don't have these colored lights stuck to your body on your skin that goes up and these different colors show up on your skin. It's not a physical, it's not three-dimensional, it's an etheric energy that basically keeps the body balanced in those frequencies. So there's all these different meridians. If you look at an acupuncture chart, you'll start to get an understanding of all the meridians in the body. These are key energy points. All of these meridians are energy points throughout the entire body. You could literally look at them as chakras, sub-chakras all over the body. So, yes, the chakras are expanding. They're increasing. Their energy vibration is becoming more and more apparent in humanity. Humanity is waking up more and more. And understand that this transition is simplified so that everybody, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't need to go and have a PhD. You don't need any of that stuff. You just feel and understand you. That's what the vibration's for. That's why these shifts are happening. So that each human starts to say, I love myself. And they don't say it because they don't feel guilty. They're not stressed when they say it. They say it with their heart center. They say, you know what, I love myself. I am eternal love. That's what I am. That's exactly what I am. And that's what's happening. People are starting to realize that that's what they are. And then they start connecting the dots, and they say, all this other stuff doesn't work for us. Because doesn't it make sense that we're all eternal love? We were all created by a powerful, powerful, non-created being, prime source creator God, that basically creates us as pieces that comes off of him. And the pieces come into these bodies, and the bodies house our essence, our higher self, our God spark. So then when we start realizing that all this crap that's been bombs and blowing up and killing and raping and pillaging and fire and doom and gloom, that's not us. That's not us. We've been
Well, even science is saying there's quantum entanglement. That's all of us connected, not the bull crap that we've heard for centuries.
Yes. Imagine this. Would you shoot somebody, okay, that you didn't know, if you knew that somebody was part of you?
Right.
Yeah, that's a big question. Yeah. See? So
right.
the excitement about this, the exuberation in this is that humanity isn't waking up, it has woken up. So when you wake up and you've had a deep sleep, it takes a while to clear and to get your focus. That's where humanity's at right now. They have woken up. Some have woken up, and they don't know what it means, so they're kind of wandering around trying to figure it out. Others have woken up, and they're starting to get it. Things are coming in now. They're starting to identify. They're starting to say, wait a minute, this is like all a movie. This accomplishes nothing for us. This doesn't do any good for us. This constant lying and cheating and manipulation. And another thing that we're going to start realizing, that when all this wealth is distributed amongst the people of this planet, everybody's going to start realizing that, you know what? What are we doing with this stuff? What are we doing with it? We can all come together. I guarantee you, we can all come together, and we can literally accomplish everything on this planet that we choose to do. And it's for each other. And it's like unreal. It's just...
Well, that's what the Galactic Federation and Sheldon Neidl, I've taken several of his courses, and that Earth is going to be a showcase planet. That's where we're going. That's where we're just about at.
And what we're doing is we're raising its vibrational frequency.
Exactly.
And as the frequency raises, which we raise, we rise, the planet rises, and a planet is created that is an Eden. And that planet is an absolute paradise. And that's the new Earth that we are creating right now. Right now. And you brought up Sheldon. I'm going to be a guest on the webinar on September 23rd with Sheldon Neidl and his wife and the rest of their group. And that'll be September 23rd. So that day we'll do a meditation at 2 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. so that I can attend that webinar and start giving some pretty in-depth information on that webinar. So.
Terrific. Terrific. Yeah, He's great. I love. I've been doing him for years, and he is just one of the elites of this planet, and he's been leading us in great directions.
As any of us have become instrumental, yourself, others, you've been following things, reading things, you've been absorbing. So, you're one of the stewards and one of the distributors of the planet to assist others to bring them into harmony. So.
Yes. So, especially I'm grounded to Gaia, and that's where my life has been, and I feel that such a connection, and we are all connected to Gaia, and that is just a beautiful thought, and that's where we need to manifest this whole thing going forward. Thank you.
Many blessings to you.
Yeah, I do. Thank you much.
Jim, again, I was just wanting to interrupt. I'm sorry I keep interrupting. I didn't mean to do that, but I was hoping that I have enough time that I could read a letter from Sheldon. I'm a good friend of his. I talk to him periodically. If I have enough time to do that. So anyway, I'll get off again, and you go ahead.
Okay, Jim. Okay. Next question.
Jared, can you give out the website for the patches?
The website for the patches is LifeWave. And the reason we don't give out the website is because you've got to be educated on the different patches because you really aren't going to know, because we don't know what you want to heal. We don't know. So that you aren't wandering around the dark, that's why the Dr. Quila will talk with you on the phone and get a tailored approach to the patch applications so that it's most benefiting you.
Okay, so you go to LifeWave and then you send them an email and you give them your number and then they contact you?
No, what you're going to do is you're going to call her, okay? And you're going to call her at 928-358-9791.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Jared?
Yes.
Hub website is patchdoctor.com.
That's her website. That's Dr. Quila's website.
Right. That's what I was going to say, give out.
Yeah. So you can go to patchdoctor.com, and that's her. There's some testimonials on there and everything. But I would think people would really want to have a tailored approach to this instead of, just grabbing something and trying it, which so many of us have done in the past. This way, it's tailored to them, and they are, it's more for them and for their needs and what they have going on with themselves. And so that she can evaluate that. I mean, she's had 40 years in nursing. She's very well versed in acupuncture, and she really knows the meridians in the body. And then that way, and what I do is I have people send me an email, and then I contact her, or they can go to her website, patchdoctor.com, and they can contact her through the website. I'm pretty sure there. So I'm just making sure that everybody that everything's in sync, and that these patches, they will know the ones that they need to get to heal them, to help them.
Is it okay to use all the patches if you want for all the benefits that each one gives?
Oh, absolutely. You can, knowing what you want to do with the body, period. Okay, so it just depends. Everybody's different. If you've got ailments, if you've got kidney problems, heart problems, if you've got muscle problems, joint problems, if you've got pain issues where you're just tired of taking opioids and drugs and chemicals and everything, and you just want to get off of that, and you just want to use these frequencies to set your body and balance it again, then that's the road you take. So if you want to use, it's like the X39 patch. The X39 patch, which basically is not, it's not out until January, but we've gotten a few patches here and there. But what the X39 does, for instance, is that everybody should know is that these things don't go into the bloodstream. They don't affect you with chemicals and all kinds of side effects and everything. You could literally, just like I said, put them on your clothes, and it affects the field, the vibrational frequency of your physical body. So what will happen is that the X39, you put it on the back of your neck. You can just hold it there if you want. And it will stimulate a peptide that causes the body to manufacture stem cells. And the stem cells are generic, which means they aren't assigned to any one part of the body. So that means they'll go to any area that's got damage, okay? Her eyes have started to come back. She's been wearing, Dr. Quila has been wearing glasses since she's like 7, 8, 9 years old. She's got severe stigmatism. She's only put that patch on for 4 hours a couple of times, and her eyesight is getting better. The stem cells are generating the healing of the eyes. So, and you can read, you read about the stem cells, and I've tried probably 30 different forms of pill stem cells and extracts and liquids and everything. These you put on, and they immediately start making a difference. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
What is the reason why it's limited to 4 hours a day? What happens if you do more than that? Is it any side effect, or I don't know?
They recommend that you just use it 4 hours at a time, and the body produces and generates the stem cells to start going to work. And a lot of people say, I'm going to wear it for 20 days. The field in these patches will last probably 48 hours, and then you get another patch and put it on. But the point is that they exhaust themselves because of the frequency. Each one is a tuned frequency that affects the frequency in the field, the body. So it all is like the hypothalamus. There's a patch that literally addresses the hypothalamus, and basically the hypothalamus controls eating habits, okay? It controls addictions, alcohol, cigarette smoking, drugs. It controls blood pressure. You read about hypothalamus and all the avenues and things that it does are absolutely unbelievable. And people don't see, everybody's been educated on taking pills and, take pills and take shots and vaccines and this stuff. When we have this and can use it, and there's no side effects because there's no chemical reaction. There's no, none of that. It doesn't work that way. And we always talk about vibrational frequencies in the body from head to toe. That's what we are. That's what we are. We're plasma energy vibrating at a certain frequency. And so it's like you have dents in these different meridians in the body, and the dents, you put this patch on, you can just hold it on the area, and the dent is alleviated, comes out wherever it may be in the body. So if you, and no, they just recommend the 4 hours because it's all it takes. You just leave it on for 4 hours, take it off, take a break, and then, the next day put it on for 4 hours again. Now, right now I'm wearing on my wrist, meridian, I'm wearing a carnosine patch, which helps detox the Now, I drink a gallon of clean water a day. So it's hydrate. You hydrate the body as much as I can with this particular water. There's other waters that are wetter that I can hydrate even more. And so the point with the water is that it just flushes all of the debris from the body because the body is detoxing through this carnosine, glutathione. And you look all these up and see what they do with the body functioning at its optimal performance. Will literally detox itself, but there aren't any humans that can do that. There may be a few on the planet, but right now everybody's so toxified up with the air, the water, the food, and everything that their bodies are just backed up. It's like their bowel problems, all of the bowel problems, the colon problems, prostate problems, all of these things are all due to massive toxicity in the human body, period. So if people can use patches like the Ice Wave patch, which is it's a 2-patch system. One's tan, which takes out, and one's white, which puts in. So if you have like a bad knee, a sore knee, and you put 2 patches right next to each other, the white and the tan, on the knee area, and one from the vibrational frequency pulls the pain away. The other one brings in balancing energy, which balances the field out, so the pain disappears without any drugs. It's gone. Pain's gone, it disappears.
Jared, may I ask a question?
Sure.
It's about water. You've spoken about water being plasma energy.
Yep.
Are there particular, not so much brands, but are there particular filters or something you could recommend that would remove certain chemicals like fluoride from the water that we could drink, that we could purchase? Any suggestions?
Yeah, there's some good ones out there, but the one I always go back to is the Berkey water filter.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's called the Berkey water filter.
B-E-R.
K-E-Y. I believe it's B-E-R-K-E-Y.
Okay. And you can buy it
what
online.
Berkey does is, they've got a website, and they've got different containers that you can use to buy. And some are the plastic, some are stainless steel, and a different variety of portable ones. Now, Berkey will remove fluoride, about 99.9% of it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
B-E-R-K-E-Y. Right?
Hello?
I'm sorry, Berkey, correct?
Yeah, Berkey. I believe that's how you spell it, and it'll correct you if you just say Berkey water filters in your search engine, and it'll automatically bring it up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
While you're talking about water, it has intelligence. You know that, right? And you can pray over it. And what else do you know about the water and the power of it? And shouldn't we be using it at the 3 o'clock manifestation call?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah. If everybody understands that everything that we are with, everything that exists, is a form of is a vibrational frequency. It's an energy pattern, vibrational frequency. The molecular structure of the plasma energy is shifted and changes, and the molecular structure. So when that happens, like the grass, it's plasma energy. Soil, plasma energy. The strawberries, the food system, everything is plasma energy, and it's just vibrating at its own frequency. It has its own frequency. So water, for instance, is magic. To me, water is absolutely magic. That's why these vessels need it, because you could go without food for a couple of weeks, but after 3 days without any water, you're dead. The body ceases. It stops. So that's how important water is, and especially clean water. And, of course, in our country today, they've totally bastardized the water systems and put fluoric acid and all kinds of garbage in it, so you can't drink your tap water. It's just poison. It's just absolute poison. And so water is plasma energy vibrating at a certain frequency that is designed to heal and hydrate the physical vessel, which is also plasma vibrational energy. So the water heals and it revitalizes tissue. So it brings it back to balance. But they knew that if they changed the water itself, its field, by polluting it, which changes the field of the water, then the water becomes toxic to the body. It changed the frequency, the water becomes detrimental. You change it to another one, the water becomes positive and nurturing to the body. So if you literally talk and tell the water you love it, you're changing its vibrational frequency. But it has to come from the heart center. Has to come from your heart mind, where you feel it in your chest, and you send that love, that eternal love, to the water. It will change its frequency. And if you want to sing to the water, that will change it too. If you want to sing a wonderful melody, it will change the water. So literally what you add to the water will change its frequency, because what you're adding has a frequency. So it will disrupt the water's frequency. It's like everything. And once you start understanding this, then you start figuring out, well, then that means that if I got a lung problem, or I have a heart problem, or I have I have these problems in my body, the body hasn't been able to heal it because it's over-toxified. It can't. The immune system is compromised. It's in a mess. It's absolutely clogged up. So how do you do it? You adjust the body's frequency back to a healthy balance. So you apply other frequencies to it, which those patches do, and it straightens out the vibrational frequency on an even plane, and the body heals itself. It allows your body to come back to what it was designed to do, keep you healthy. That's its main purpose, is to keep you from having any kind of ailments, any kind of diseases, anything, period. You don't get sick. You don't ever get sick. You don't get flus. You don't get viruses. You don't get any of that. That's how it's designed. Imagine that. And everybody says, well, that's just normal. You catch a flu or virus or something like that. No, it is not normal. It is not normal. Everybody's bought into that being normal. That's just being human. That's garbage. So basically, the vibrational frequency is everything. If you want water, I'll give you an example. The replicator uses plasma energy and reconfigures it to whatever you want. Your clothes are a vibrational frequency, okay? They are created by plasma energy through cotton, through all of these synthetic fibers, which we shouldn't be wearing anyway. But all of this stuff is a vibrational frequency created by plasma energy. and it is plasma energy. So when you start understanding that every single thing that you see is plasma energy vibrating at a different frequency to make the appearance of whatever it is you have. It could be a Bluetooth speaker, it could be a TV, could be anything. So once you identify that and you understand that, then you start getting the understanding that vibrational frequencies are the key to humanity's health and well-being. So when
do you like the structured water? And does it have the ability to manifest things and powers of people, on your 3 o'clock?
Well, the structured water, and then there's the happy water that Lori spoke about at the health call, is that you understand it's a vibrational frequency. Once you understand what that frequency is, then you understand what that water is going to do. Now, the structured water is supposed to be wetter. It's a different vibrational frequency than tap water, than this so-called crap they put in, call it spring water in the plastic bottles. And what it does is it basically hydrates the body much better. The body absorbs the fluids into the cell structure and is able to hydrate the body much better. So the body becomes more hydrated and healthier, and the skin doesn't get crepey, and things start becoming newer and younger looking, and your eyesight, your hair, all of it. See, the majority of the American people, even though they consume this crap that they put in the plastic bottles, is dehydrated. See? Isn't that amazing? You know that people who drink a gallon or more of water a day are dehydrated because of the water they're drinking.
Do you know that the structured water is a detox automatically?
Yeah, the structured water will help much better with detoxification.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jared, I have a question.
Sure.
I would like to know, for somebody that's in kidney failure and they're on diuretics, well, they're supposed to be very limited to their water intake because, it defeats the purpose. If you're going to load up on water and then take the diuretics, you're kind of defeating your whole scene.
Well, I'll give you an example. The kidney, happens to be the smallest organ in the body. Now, what happens with the kidney? Now, understand something. If your body was an optimal generating machine like it's supposed to be, which it isn't, it's too compromised. So when the kidneys begin to degenerate or fail, it's because their vibrational frequency is way out of whack, and the body can't repair them.
Is that why the filtration won't work, right?
Well, what happens with the filtration is that the kidneys can't function because the globules that are in the kidneys become clogged with toxins. They get backed up, so it puts pressure on the kidneys, which then cause hypertension and high blood pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
And eye problems, and mouth problems, and teeth problems, and all of that wonderful stuff. It's a cascading effect. So with the kidneys, you detoxify. You have to flush the kidneys. You cannot add chemicals to the kidneys. You have to add things that the body recognizes as friendly. If you add chemicals, painkillers, all kinds of chemicals, diuretics, it's going to tax the kidneys. It's absolutely asinine. That's asinine.
I understand, but you know what? If your legs are swelling up to the point where you're just about screaming in pain and they're like 2 or 3 times the size and they're just rock hard and they're swollen beyond, like your foot is a football, if you don't take the diuretics, how do you get that out of there? That fluid just builds and builds and builds, and then it builds right up and around your heart.
Okay.
And you drown. You literally drown.
What you want to do is you have a couple of choices. You can call Dr. Quila.
Right, yes.
And tell her that, and she's probably listening on the call anyway. But
yes, you know what? I didn't get to call her yet because I was supposed to yesterday, and I've had 2 days of lots of stuff, so I plan on getting a hold of her tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to get a hold of her so she can literally tell you what application to use immediately.
Yeah.
But
I just thought other people would be interested too, because I'm not the only person in town with kidney problems.
Oh no, it's epidemic.
If you're limited to your intake and you need to flush them out, it's like putting your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. In my book, I don't know.
I know what people are doing with kidney problems is a detox cleansing of the kidneys, but you also have to do the colon and liver and such.
Okay, thank you. And I have one more point, if I might add. When people have the noise in the background, I don't know, but a call I was on many years ago, what would happen is everybody star sixes to get in, but when they finish talking, they just go and carry on, and they've got to train themselves to star six out. I think that might be where some of the problems are coming. Because I got to the point where people were saying star six, I'm going to star six out, and they actually said it as they did it, and that really cleared it up.
Yeah,
you know, it's very easy to quit talking and then just carry on in your kitchen, banging the pots and pans.
But you got to get on the phone with Dr. Quila.
Yes. I'm going to call her tomorrow if I can get through to her. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Jared, can I ask you a question about computers and cell phones and what they're emitting and the dangers that is to people?
Sure.
Laptops, computers, cell phones. Can you say a few words about what's coming out of those electronic tools and how to mitigate that?
Okay. First problem that no one's informed about is the blue light that comes out of the monitors, that comes out of the tablets, comes out of the smartphones. Now, you imagine how long your eyes are focused on that little screen on that smartphone, which is horrible for the eyes anyway because they have to work overtime to try to focus, and you've got the darn thing within a foot from your face. And the blue light destroys the macula of the eye. All right, that's what it does. Bottom line. So, a lot of people at work and they're staring at these screens and they don't know it, but they're destroying the macula is being destroyed in the eye. So then later, as time goes by, they start having issues. Their eyesight starts getting bad. They go in, says, well, you got the beginnings of macular degeneration. So they say, well, what does that mean? Well, that means that eventually you're going to lose your eyesight. This scares the crap out of people, okay? And they go, what do you mean I'm going to lose my? Well, you're going to have to get shots. And so people are going through all this pain, all this stuff, and the shots in the eyes, and all kinds of medications.
Did we lose you?
Jared, are you there? We lost him.
I think we lost him. Oh, now we're in. You're back.
You're dying in and out, Jared.
Okay, I'm dying in and out. All right. How about now?
Good.
We can hear you.
Okay. But anyway, you go to the optometrist and you say, I've got a monitor I'm in front of all day long. I've got laptops. I've got smartphones. I've got tablets. How do I get rid of this offensive blue light? There's glasses that you can get that will filter out the blue light so that you don't have to worry about it destroying the macula in your eye. So another thing they emit is radiation, low-level radiation that permeates the body. So are they healthy? No, they aren't good for us at all. Right? Now, when we had the cathode ray tubes, the old monitors, they didn't produce blue light. Right? They're more like the incandescent light bulb type of light. They had tubes in them. The light was generated like with the tubes and so on and so forth. So you didn't have to worry about that so much. Televisions, the new smart TVs, blue light. So when your kids are like 3 feet from the TV in the Saturday morning sitting there looking at that TV, it's bombarding their eyes with blue light. And also low-grade radiation. All Wi-Fi is very unhealthy for the body. It's very unhealthy for the vibrational frequency of the body. All of this Wi-Fi, which people say it's so great, so wonderful, got all this Wi-Fi going on, it's not good. It's unhealthy. It's bad for us, period. People felt healthier when we didn't have Wi-Fi than we do now. They don't notice it because they don't attribute it to some of their problems with the Wi-Fi. You got all these waves of energy flying through the house, through your apartment, through your condo, wherever you may be, and it's literally interrupting your frequency, your vibrational frequency. So what does that mean? Creates problems in your body. It causes things, and no one ever thinks about that. But and you can research the Wi-Fi situation, and they don't want you to know about it. They just want everybody to just get this Wi-Fi, get this Wi-Fi, get this Wi-Fi, get this booster, get that booster. period. So
it's Sheldon, not an ascended master.
Okay, someone's talking and they are not muted. So, but what we're going to do now?
Hi,
we're going to do now. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a question about EMFs and smart TVs and the other devices in your home computer. I started to do a little research. Recently, I moved to Florida, but there seem to be a lot of indigenous plants down here, aloe, that I'm not sure of their abilities to absorb the EMFs or diffuse them. And will crystals help to protect your environment?
Yes. Crystals and orgonite.
Orgon. Okay.
What about salt lamps?
And where will you get the glasses that'll protect your eyes? Where do you get those?
You got to go to the eye doctor, optometrist.
No, to protect your eyes from the blue light.
Yeah, you got to get. There's glasses with a certain filter in them that you have to get to wear to filter out the blue light. You might want to go on your search engine and type in eyeglasses that filter blue light.
Yeah, I've seen them online. I Googled it just the other day.
So you can get glasses that you can put on over your prescription glasses or your contacts, and it'll filter out the blue lights. I highly recommend it.
For EMF, there's a product called The Plug, so you can check into that.
Yeah, the electromagnetic frequency. It's a frequency, guys. All right, Wi-Fi is a frequency. Microwave's a frequency. Remember that. Everything's a frequency. Some are good for you. Some are bad for you. All right? You always got to think about the physical body. It's a vibrational frequency. When it gets out of whack, you get out of whack. Right? They never address those frequencies. They never address them. They always give pills or, all this crap and garbage and chemicals that toxify the body more, that clog it up more, that cause more organs to fail and to drop in their energy levels. It's just all about the fields of energy. It's a circular pattern, and it involves your knowledge of understanding. It says, okay, now I understand that everything's a frequency. Now I've got to start applying things that are good frequencies that will allow my body to heal itself. Period. So, but what we're going to do now is we're going to bring on Jim. And Jim, I'm not sure your last name, but it's it's Leavitt, I believe. But Jim is it Leavitt? Okay. Jim is a very informed human being on the rights of, I would say, American people and humanity, and also very informed about Nesara and what it means to each and every one of you. I think it's been described too complicated a lot of times, too much gobbledygook, but he's refined it, and he's going to present it to all of you now. So, Jim, why don't you just come on
already
and start sharing with everybody about what this all means to each and everybody listening on this line.
What it means, not only, thank you so much, Jared. It's a privilege and a pleasure. As a matter of fact, I could end all my thing by saying one word. As far as Jim Leavitt is concerned, personally, of the information tonight, is that's amen, because it's just been beautiful. And I appreciate you and love you and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I would like, first of all, before I start, I would like everyone to know who Jared Rand is. Jared Rand, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the world, he's an ascended master. And we all know ascended masters. He brings them on every night or every day when he gives his calls every day at 3 p.m. And ascended master, some of you may know that terminology, some may not, but there's one ascended master that every human being knows on the face of this planet. It's the one we've all been taught and told and so on. We've never probably met him in person, but we've seen pictures of him. and his name is Jesus Christ, Ananda Jesus Christ. And we're very blessed to have our Prime Creator send such a blessing, such a beloved Son down here to help us and teach us and train us and prepare us for all the wonderful things that are about ready to happen to us all. We've lived in hell and damnation and doom and gloom for many, many years. Fortunately, because of our Creator, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, we are He's taken back over. They're taking back over their children and the planet, all of the creation, and we're very blessed. I have been sharing, Nesara, my wife and I are both what we considered as light workers. The information I receive all comes from white knights and light workers, and we get information from above as well. And we're all coming from the light into the dark. And I don't mean that we're part of the dark agenda, the dark cabal or the Illuminati or Satanism, but we're born just like we're Americans here, citizens here in the United States, and we go over to Africa for say, they have complete control. They have their laws and rules and regulations, and we're over there. We're white, they're dark. And same thing here, we're in the dark. That doesn't mean that we're part of the Illuminati or the dark cabal or dark agenda. We're just underneath their control, of which they have. And they have the control over us. They've tried it, and how they've done that, basically, there's many ways, but primarily they've kept us all in as much fear as they possibly can and keeping us as broke as they possibly can. So as we know when a person's broke and in fear, what do? You follow the bouncy ball. But let me share now, Nesara, and Jared was sharing some of that earlier, and when I've shared this before, and I share it with everybody, I've been told I'm crazy, I'm dangerous, I should be locked up, and I'm in a white coat, you can put me away. Because of our teachings that we've had, nobody's ever heard of this. It's unbelievable. These things can happen because of the life that we've lived, life that we've been underneath. But Nesara is the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, Nesara, Nesara. Now, this happened a long time ago before this date, but this is the date that it started as far as mankind knows and when it was liquid. This was in the year 2000, and I'm going to read this so I don't miss anything for you. Late one evening on March the 9th, 2000, a written quorum call was hand-delivered by the Delta Force and the Navy SEALs to 15 members of the United States Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives, who were sponsors and co-sponsors of Nesara. They were immediately escorted by the Delta Force and the Navy SEALs to the respective voting chambers where they passed the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. These 15 members of Congress were the only people lawfully allowed to hold offices in accordance with the original 13th Amendment. Remember, British soldiers destroyed copies of the titles of nobility amendment, Tony, in the War of 1812 because it prevented anyone who had ties to the Crown of England from holding public office. Nesara is the most groundbreaking reformation to sweep not only this country, but our planet in its entire history. The act does away with the Federal Reserve, Bank, the IRS, the shadowy government, and much, much more. Nesara implements the following changes. Let me read those for you, so I don't want to miss any of them. There's 19 of them. Zeroes out all credit. Excuse me, just a minute. Let me read that. It zeroes out. Get back up here. All credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. This is the Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee or a forgiveness of debt. Abolishes the income tax. Abolishes the IRS. Employees of the IRS will be transferred into U.S. Treasury National Sales Tax area. Creates a 14% flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will use items such as old homes and so forth. Increased benefits to the senior citizens. Returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. Reinstates the original title of nobility amendment under the 13th Amendment. This clause reads, no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, except of any present involvement, office, or title, any kind, whether from any king, prince, or foreign state. If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall any citizen of the United States, without the consent of Congress, accept and retain any present pension, office, or involvement of any kind, whether from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and shall be incapable of holding any office or trust or profit under them, or either of them. Establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nesara's announcement. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return us back to constitutional law, which we've been off for many, many years. Monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups. Creates a new United States Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum, and precious metals. Ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the United States Department of Transportation. Initiates new United States Treasury Bank system in alignment with constitutional law. Eliminates the Federal Reserve System. During the transition period, the Federal Reserve will be allowed to operate side by side of the United States Treasury for 1 year in order to remove all Federal Reserve notes from the money supply. Restores financial privacy, retrains now all judges and attorneys in constitutional law, seizes all aggressive United States government military actions worldwide, establishes peace throughout the world, releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes, enables the release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technology that have been withheld from the people. And obviously there's much more that's going to happen. Now, this has all been kept from us for the complete reasons of control of the powers to be, which is Illuminati and control. I have some information in regard to the lady who was talking about what to do about investments and so forth, et cetera, how to protect them and so forth. The last 30-plus years of my working profession, I was in the insurance industry and trust business. And I specialize in the senior markets in the insurance industry. And I was always looking for what I would consider the perfect solution for asset protection. I found that back in many years ago. And so I was introduced to a lady that lived in Gig Harbor, Washington. We lived in Gig Harbor, Washington for 20 years. They lived there for 15 years. And this lady was a constitutional attorney that can practice because she wouldn't press the bar to go into statutory law. And let me just make a note of that. The statutory law, there's three names for statutory. Statutory, admiralty law, and maritime law. Admiralty law is the tassels you see in the American flag. It's in the professional buildings and so forth, et cetera, in the courthouses, et cetera, in schools and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. Admiralty law and then maritime law. That's like an admiral of the Navy, and that's only legal. Those three are only legal on the waters, the oceans, and the seas, not illegal laws in the court system here. But we don't know that. They beguile us as they do everything else. But nevertheless, we're being free of all of that. Now, what I was introduced to was called the corporation soul, which comes under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. I've shared some of this before, a little bit of it. And it's unknown. It's asset protection, mankind, but it's very well unknown to the people. And the reason it's unknown because the powers that be who control their assets through their corporation souls, meaning the Illuminati, all the dark ball and so forth, they control their assets through their corporation souls. Now, they don't want it to be known. They can't stop it, but they've slowed it down. They can't stop it because it comes under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And how they slowed it down is they've not allowed it to be taught in the professions that do asset protection work for their clients, such as attorneys, lawyers, CPAs, accountants, and financial planners. Now, I've had a personal experience in this line. I've had literally hundreds and hundreds of calls throughout the past 20-plus years from these professions that I've just mentioned. And they've all called me. I don't know any of them. And now the reason they've called me is that one of their clients has heard me give a presentation on the corporation soul. And three things came out of that. Number one, it sounded too good to be true, and we've all been shared and taught what to do. Something happened like that passes us by. Run from it. Secondly, who in the world is Jim Leavitt? He could be the biggest con man, gangster, shyster, schuster in the world, scammer. And thirdly, the people that write the corporation soul, they charge a fee for that. So because of those three reasons, they've gone to these professions that they know, that do asset protection work, that they know, and I've asked them either to write them a corporation soul or give them a green light. They've all said no. They've all said no because they've never heard of it. It's never been taught. Now, when they go back to constitutional law, go back to school to brush up on the constitutional law, then they will all know about that. But like I said, it comes under the First Amendment. And Rita Johnson, who, as I was introduced to, is a constitutional attorney that does not practice or cannot practice in the court system because she didn't pass the bar. She didn't want to go into statutory law, illegal law. She was born and raised in Billings, Montana, and their family was a prominent family, and they had two good friends. And one of them was a retired United States Superior Court judge who was an expert on canon law and constitutional law. Canon law is the law of England, and constitutional law. The other one is one of our better United States House of Representatives. During his tenure, that was Mike Mansfield. He sat on the third highest seat of our government hierarchy at one time as the Speaker of the House. The judge took her under his wing as his protege to do the research. She did that. It took her a little over 7.5 years, chasing all the way, research all the way back to 600 years to its founding beginning. And it became so perfect back there then, so usable, perfect, without all the corruption that was going on back in those days, the killing and so forth. That came down through the centuries. And then when America was discovered, we started the development of America. We started with 14, we ended up with 14 colonies, 13 colonies. We went into statehood and ended with 50 states. But during those early years, we had one of the greatest documents that I think that was ever written by the Constitution of the United States. And I know our prime creator gave those men the great words to write to make that document the great document that it was. So it comes under that First Amendment, the United States Constitution. Now, the Constitution doesn't say that terminology is not corporation soul. Terminology is your belief system. Whatever your belief system, it's God-given from our Creator, right, to every human being born. And Rita Johnson is registered with the IRS as a church, because that's what your belief system is. It's considered part of your religious area, your feelings, your so forth, etc., etc. Not by a special specific name, whatever you name it, is your religion. And you have that God-given right underneath the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And you get a special classification on that from the IRS when you get that EIN number, federal ID number, is issued to the name of your corporation soul, and it is a 508 rather than a 501c3. Now, I have a copy of the IRS code book. It's over 5 inches thick and over 12,000 pages. It's all intermingled with statutory and constitutional law. Under the statutory side is a 501c3, which most people are familiar with and accustomed to. Under the Title 26, Section 6033 of the Constitutional Law, it's a 508, which it says mandatory exceptions. And that mandatory is highlighted, bold, print, highlighted with underlined mandatory exception, meaning that it's a law that they have, but they don't do anything about it. It's not noted to them. And I've talked to many IRS agents over the years, and they've never ever heard of the 508, even though it's in their code book. And I can understand that. As I was in the insurance business, I was specialized in a certain area, and if they asked me by another type of insurance, I couldn't answer them. I would recommend that they go to the person that is an expert in that field. So 508 is mandatory access, meaning that you not report, there's no record keeping, there's no taxation. That's their law, not our law, but their law, legally and lawfully under the First Amendment and under the IRS code. So when you have a corporation soul, you literally own nothing but control everything. There's three names that appear on the corporation soul only: the overseer, secretary, and resident agent. The overseer is the only one that has any authority or authorization, and the secretary has none, neither does the resident agent. The resident agent is the people that do the corporation soul only. Now, the overseer can bring the secretary and get the secretary involved if they want to do that. And how they do that is when they go to the bank to open up the account in the name of the corporation soul, they then would take the secretary to sign that sign that signature card. That's the only way. And that's usually done by husband and wife or family relatives or something of that nature. And then you start putting everything inside of that corporation soul. For example, you put you have the account lined up in the name, set up in the name of the corporation soul. You go to all your vehicles, whatever the kind of they may be, and get what they call a title transfer, transferring it from your name into the name of the corporation soul. With the property, homes, properties, whatever, you go and you get a quitclaim deed from the title companies, and you fill that out. And here in the state of Washington, for example, the top part is the buyer, is the seller, and the seller and the owner is one of the same. The middle part is the buyer. The bottom part is the legal description of the property. And in that middle part where it says the buyer, you would put the name of the corporation soul in there. At the end of that line, there's a dollar mark. The dollar mark would be, depending upon the situation, if you had no mortgage, meaning that your loan is paid off, you owned it outright per se, as much as you possibly could, and you would put the word gift in the dollar amount. If you had a mortgage and you were paying, you would put gifting your equity. You take it down and file it for that. Then you would start putting your investments in there underneath the corporation soul. So you would come to a point where hopefully you would own nothing but control everything. Literally, a person can literally, for example, control billions and billions and billions of dollars, but on paper they're a pauper, because you cannot stop people from suing you, but you can sure stop people from getting anything. And like I say, there's no reporting, no filing, no nothing. They're all notarized. They're international documents. They're unincorporated international documents. They're good all over the world. They're more prevalent in Europe. I had an experience one time. This was back in March. This is very interesting. It was very interesting to me. Back in March of 2001, excuse me. And I had a call one morning, and it was a woman's voice, and she was it was a southern voice. Called me, and I could tell it was from the southern just because of her accent. And she said, Mr. Leavitt, I'd like to speak to Mr. Jim Leavitt. And I said, this is Jim Leavitt. May I help you? And she said, these are the exact words she said. She said, I just received a piece of scratch paper, your name with your phone number on it. And they told me that if he wanted any protection for my assets, call this person at this number, and that's what she was doing. She's following the bouncing ball. She called me. We'll make a long story short on this, man. She took out a corporation soul. She received a corporation soul from the people that write it. She's very happy and excited about it. Her name was Colleen, and Colleen was a minister down in, which made no difference which she was. She happened to be a minister, and she had a ministry, and she had a good friend. And her ministry was under a 501c3, but she had some personal property that she didn't want to go that route if there was anything else, and that's what she was trying to find out about. So she showed her corporation soul documentation to this good friend of hers, and he immediately got on the phone to me, and I'll tell you, he was screaming at me, hollering, shouting, cussing me, demanded her money back. He was going to have me thrown in prison because I cheated her, I stole from her, I ripped her off. This was no such thing. That was in first part of March of 2001. I received a letter from her on the 21st of December of 2001. The letter was an email. The attorney was an attorney who was her personal friend, as a member of the community, member of the church. And she was also the attorney for her and the church. And he went ballistic. So that's what he was calling me about and cussing me out. He finally was shouting so far, I had to hold the phone away from my ear. And finally he just quit. He got tired. He couldn't talk anymore. And I said, I don't know who you are, sir, but obviously you don't know what you're talking about. And I hung up. That was in March of 2001. This letter, it's very short. I'd like to read it to you just to give you somewhat of an idea how powerful and so forth this is, and how they don't know about it in those professions that I've shared with you. It says, Morning, Colleen. I have been retained to look into the viability and the validity of the legal structure corporation soul as a means to save on taxes and preserve capital assets. I have worked in the business and economic development since 1978, beginning with managing special projects for the Memphis State Department of Economic Development to serving as Secretary to the Board of Economic Development and General Counsel on Development Matters for two governors. Throw in about a dozen more years in business and legal consulting in the private sector. I relate all this to say how surprised I was at what I found with the corporation soul. The corporation soul is a creature of statute in some states and of the common law in others. It was first used in Europe by the church as a method of acquiring and holding church property. Later it was used by the wealthy to shield property from the state. The corporation soul made its way here as part of the common law and has been used the same way as in Europe to protect assets and to shield money from an overburdensome tax and regulatory system. It is in use today by the Catholic and the Mormon churches as well as wealthy families and others in the know. Why doesn't everyone know about it? It's not taught in law school, that's for sure. And if everybody knew and was familiar with it, then regulatory and tax burdens would change and more high-income people would use this for savings and protection would have to pay more of their share, and that will never happen. Why this discourse? I think the corporation soul is a method of saving taxes and protecting assets should be made available to those individuals who want and need this kind of legal protection and asset management too. I would like to make this available for those who want and need this protection available for all. During this investigation, several professionals surfaced as capable of providing assistance in this matter. However, one emerged head and shoulders above the rest. Fees for corporation soul have been quoted as high as $15,000 to $50,000, and we can get it done in a timely and efficient manner for a lot less than that. I am scheduling a series of meetings, first because I can gain greater expertise, and secondly, it can be beneficial to many in this area. The two professionals live in the Northwest. They can meet with us here on December the 27th, 8th, and 9th in Memphis if enough people are available. It will take about 2 hours of one's time. One of the professionals, Rita, is the attorney, female, who represents this process, who researched this process for over 7 years. I represent some who are preparing to receive a sizable sums of money right now. I realize there are others who at least need to know their options. If you are interested or know of anyone who wants or needs this wonderful method of protection, let me know. Thanks, Kevin. I just wanted to share that with you, just mainly because I wanted you to realize and know that it's not taught in the professions that do asset protection work, because once you have a corporation soul, there's no record of it. You give no records to nobody. You keep no records whatsoever, unless you want to keep your own records for your personal benefit. There's no reporting, no filing, no nothing, and no taxation on it whatsoever. It's mandatory exceptions from their laws. So the purpose of corporation soul is you can do anything you want to do. If there's no limit to what a corporation soul can give, or no limit to what they can receive. Now, with us as human beings, we can give as much as we want, but we can give up to $15,000 maximum without any tax ramifications. But over that, then there's tax ramifications. Now, as far as legality is concerned, Rita was a great researcher, and she researched the court system to see if there ever had been a case involved, where a case had been involved, where a corporation soul had been involved in the case, and she found one only over the years. And this was a case in California in 1983, and it was a county, not an individual. A county of San Luis Obispo, California, was suing a couple for a high hospital bill. The county hospital was. That went to court. There's a long story to that, but I got the summary of this case. And the people won. They had no money when the woman was released from the hospital from this huge bill, and they had no money and no insurance. Now, and so they had to bill them. But before anything happened, she had a relapse, went back to the hospital, compounded the bill. They had a 5-acre little farm there. And they didn't wait the second time when they released. They just subpoenaed them, sued them. And there was 4 attorneys, county attorneys who worked for the county of San Luis Obispo, and they knew up front that they had no money and no insurance. But they knew that they had the property, and their intent was to go and lien and seize that property for the payment of that huge bill. The bottom line is the case was awarded to Mr. and Mrs. Ashurst, was the name of the couple. The reason for that is they did not own the property. It says right here in the brief, in fact, the husband is a corporation soul in his capacity as a titular head of the religious organization, was thus not subject to execution for his or his wife's debts. from the Superior Court of San Luis Obispo. So it's a very powerful document. And like I say, I don't write Corpus and Souls, I don't sell them, and I don't make any money on them, but I share them, just like I share Nesara, just like I share anything that's good, just like just like Jared is sharing everything to help us, to teach us, to get us and prepare us for the great, wonderful things that are coming. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go from hell and damnation, doom and gloom to love and abundance. Somebody mentioned Saint Germain. Saint Germain has been in our home one time, and Saint Germain's, if you take 40 zeros, go over 40 zeros, put a figure 1 to whatever, and then go over 40 zeros. That's the money that's available from Saint Germain to the Manican. So people, and others, we have the prosperity programs. These are investments that have made over the years. We have the foreign exchange funds, like the NARS, the DONGs, the ZIMs, and so forth that people are in. We've invested in those. We have those monies, those in our body. And people ask me, they're in the prosperity programs, Jim, do you know how much we're going to receive? And I tell them, yes. Not exactly, but you're all going to be, all of you are going to be multi-millionaires. And now people are going to be, the rest of them, because St. Germain's money is going out to the people as well. So, like I say, guys, we're going to go from hell and damnation, doom and gloom to love and abundance. Now, if anybody would like to call me or my wife, we'd be more than happy to talk to you. We've got lots of information. We receive this information not only from White Knights and Lightworkers. We receive it from Ascended Masters, like we're talking with the one right now, and then also Sheldon Idol. And we receive it from letters from above as well. And I can understand why people call us crazy and dangerous and should be locked up, because nobody teaches them this. The closest thing that I've ever come close to this is our beloved Jared, who's teaching us now. And what a blessing you are to mankind, Jared. But let me give you our phone numbers. We have two numbers, my wife and I. Our number is both area codes the same, 360, both 458, and then one is 3453. The other one is 3792. 360-458-3453 and 3792. We've been blessed to be just like we've been blessed to be able to get with Jared. We have been blessed with great health. My wife is a young 92 and I'm a young 86, and we're hydrated 100%. That's why we're so healthy and so good at our young age. My wife was born and raised in show business, and she still performs, not professionally anymore. She does it for the seniors and so forth. And we're most of us are older than the seniors that are in those senior houses and so forth, and caretakers. But if it's not too late, if you'd like Lori could sing a song for us all, if that's possible or not.
Well, is her voice ready?
Yes, she's all ready. You there, Ma? Lori? Let me just check quickly. I know she was ready. I'm going from my office to her office now.
This is a song that I dubbed for Rita Hayworth in a movie called...
Yeah. Come on. We have a barking dog, sorry.
That was excellent, Jim. Thank you. We look forward to hearing your wife's voice, beautiful voice.
Lori, did you sing?
Saying very much grateful to your information.
Well, thank you, Jared. And that's just what life is all about. It's people. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all gods and goddesses. We're all here to help one another. Hopefully we can. And some of us have come out into the light, so we've got more information than the people, unfortunately, that haven't come into the light yet. So we're trying to share this with every human being, just like you're doing. And I appreciate the opportunity to have sharing what I did. Thank you, sir.
Honor your presence on the planet.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
God bless.
Thank you. Great knowledge.
What a blessing to have so many light workers on this call.
Yeah,
Thank you, James. Thank you, Jared.
Beautiful. Thank you.
That's absolutely.
James.
Can't you feel it, guys? Can't you feel it?
Oh, totally.
We got about 140,000 people still on the call with us tonight. So, we got a lot of people listening from all over the place.
Hello?
James, if you would do us a favor and give your numbers one more time. 360.
There was a movie called Cover Girl, and in that movie,
Rita Hayworth played in that movie with Gene Kelly. And as she walks into the room, she sings this song. Now, she didn't sing because she couldn't. She only danced. So I dubbed the movie, the song in the movie, and here it goes. Hope you like it. Long ago and far away, I dreamed a dream one day, and now that dream is here beside me. Long the skies were overcast, but now the clouds are past. You're here at last. Chills run up and down my spine. Aladdin's lamp is mine. The dream I dreamed was not denied me. Just one look and then I knew that all I longed for long ago was you.
You know, that's still not too bad for a lady 92 without any teeth.
That's wonderful. That's just, you know.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Could we get Jim's numbers one more time, please?
It's area code 360.
360-458-3453. 360-458-3453. The second is 360-458-3792. 360-458-3792.
Can I say something?
Sure can, Lori.
Okay, I want to say something about Fremart. Fremart is a new company that, John Austin is the CEO. I've known him since he was 14 years old, and he's in his 60s now. So I've known him most of his life, and he has a program called Fremart, and they have a water. And I drink the water, and I'm completely hydrated. My doctor is stunned by the progress I've been making. I have a 7.4 pH and 120/80 blood pressure. Now, you can't get any better than that at any age.
No.
So, anyway, I'd like to have people listen to I have a website. And the website is Shop Fremart, FREEMART.com / and then my website is Lucky Lady after the / Lucky Lady. You get in free. You get a free website. Everything's free. You don't ever have to buy anything if you don't want to, but if you share the website with people and they buy the water, and that water is fantastic. It has all the negative ions in it and electrolytes, and it makes you happy when you drink it, because it's called happy water, and it's fantastic. Pure water, and it hydrates the body and the soul. So I just wanted to say something about it, and get in free, and you can order that water, huh?
How many gallons does it
And
take?
the water, the $48 bottle of water, a little bottle of water, 6 drops to a gallon will hydrate your body and your soul. And you get, out of a bottle, you get 198 gallons of water. Pure water.
That's a real deal, boy. I'll tell you that. almost 200 gallons of water with a $48 purchase to restructure the water so it will hydrate you more and help the balance of the body. So if you look at that sensibly, price-wise, and you look at an average gallon of distilled water, which runs about 89 cents. I mean, Kroger sells them for 89 cents.
Well, you can go to the dollar store and get the geyser water and add the drops to it, too.
Yeah, so you look at, say, 89 cents times 200, okay? 89 cents times 200.
No, 48 cents.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, you look at, I'm just taking, for instance, a gallon of distilled water is 89 cents. So if someone were to buy 200 gallons at 89 cents, look at what it would cost you. So if you buy a bottle of for $48, and it will hydrate almost 200 gallons of water. That's just unreal.
It is. It works.
That's just unreal. And you got a blood pressure of 120 over 70.
Over 80.
120 over 80. Your hydration, your pH balance 7.4, which is almost perfect. You're 92. You're 92 years old.
Yep.
You sing like a nightingale, and all I'm going to say is that that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
And it makes you happy is what's really valuable.
Yeah, you walk around.
It's called happy water, and when you drink that water, you are happy.
Yeah. So I can't tell you're happy at all, Lori. I just can't tell that. Can't tell that at all. Not at all.
Thank you, Jared. I am happy. Every day I say I'm happy, and I do that meditation of happiness anyway.
Oh, it's just it's phenomenal to feel the energy of the souls that are currently on this call is absolutely phenomenal. The energy that I'm feeling, the euphoric feeling, the happiness, the kindness, the generosity, the love,
bliss.
The eternal love, the bliss is just absolutely paramount. It's phenomenal.
Thanks to you, Jared, because you set the stage. Beautiful.
All I do is I come in and I light the fire.
Jared, I send out emails to everybody about you. Everybody. I say, if you really want to feel good and know that you are loved with eternal love, you go to this website or this call every day. So I give them the number of the call, and I just got 2 more people in my organization.
There you go. So, this is all about helping each other, assisting each other. We've got a tremendous amount of information that we have not shared, a tremendous amount of guidance and direction that's going to be pouring in here. We can't do it, obviously, on one call. We can't do it on several calls, but we're doing our best to get to everyone knowledge, wisdom from people like Jim, Lori, other people on this call that are listening that have a wealth of knowledge, and we're bringing together in respect and honor of each other. So,
and Jared, you can't order the water until you join, and it's free to join. So what have you got to lose?
It's a no-brainer then. So
it's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
It's about being able to find stopgaps that are affordable and don't break the bank, that people can apply to make their bodies, to increase the health of their bodies and the well-being. And
there you go. Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing. That's all we're doing. And the information that is forthcoming is basically going to blow the socks off of people. So
it is.
We're going to go into detail on the next Time for Change call about different applications that people can start understanding that are going to be here very shortly. And it's absolutely the difference between darkness and light. It is everything that you see, everything that's surrounding you right now on this planet is going to be gone. From the standpoint of the lifestyle, the life attitude, and everything, the direction. It's like this. This is how I can describe it in a simple format. All of humanity is going to be wealthy, right? That's the bottom line.
Yes. And Jared, I just got an email from a very trusted person that I've known for many years, and it says in it, the dark cabal has surrendered.
Yeah, that was an inevitability. That's an inevitability.
Inevitability, you bet. They have surrendered, and they've all been arrested.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
There's going to be a lot of surprises for people that have been going through frustration and their pain.
Oh, yeah. Time for change.
Yeah, exactly. Time for change. And people are going to start realizing that all the things that have been flashing in front of them, like...
And I love you with all my heart and my soul, Jared. I love you with everything. I have eternal love.
Yes, exactly. I appreciate that. I love you too, Jim. We're all about eternal love. That's what we are. And that energy, when you speak those words, permeates our very existence, and it spreads for everybody.
You see, today I'm a magnet for infinite abundance, divine intelligence, and eternal love. And this has always actually been true.
That's exactly right, because that's what everybody is. That's what we all are.
That's
God
right.
is love. God is love.
Yeah, that's what we all are. That's what we're made up of, eternal love. So, we're moving into position. Everybody on this call is a steward. You will be responsible for distributing wealth on a grand scale to many of your brothers and sisters. And
amen.
Just the beginning of it, folks. Just the beginning. Things are going to
absolutely
rapidity and a rapid pace. They're going to just change, just completely change. And everything that you've known is just not going to be here. It's not going to exist anymore. So corruption, manipulation, greed, lies, deceit are all going to vaporize. And
can you give a rough time zone? Can you give a time zone a time limit of like when this might begin to happen?
Oh, yeah, sure. Before the year's out, absolutely.
It's been happening. It's been going on and on and on and on behind the scenes, and we just can't let it be known. They can't let it be known to mankind, just like it was known to mankind on 9/11/2001 at 10 o'clock, and at 8 a.m. is when the buildings came down. So everything has to be done. But people ask me the time, because that's what people want, is a time and a date. And there is no time, there's no date, other than it can happen at any moment now, any time. We're getting that close. We're getting very close.
Well, I'll tell you right now that before this year's out, you're going to see a distribution of great wealth.
Yes.
So it give you a kind of a bird's eye understanding is that it's already in motion and it's already taking place. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to shadow it from the masses. So the dark influence is trying to do everything they can to divert attention. All the crap that's going on in D.C., all the crap on the TV, it's just a diversion to keep you away and not pay attention to what's actually taking place so that your vibrational frequency can't pick up what's happening. And basically what's happening is it's a shift. And this was planned thousands of years ago, literally by heaven. So this is a divine intervention for humanity, the total freeing and liberation of the human race and all inhabitants of the planet. And that's what's really this is about, and that's what's freeing, that's what's happening. And the awakening is in full swing. And what will happen is that when everybody is wealthy, everybody's been hydrated financially, you're going to watch a big change, because after the smoke clears and after people start realizing that what's the big deal? This is what we've all wanted, and now you have it. And then when you have no debt, you have no stress physically, because the technologies are taking grip and they're being distributed, and you're healing your body. Now think about this. You have no ill health. You have no aging. You have no financial problems. All of these are gone permanently, completely. So think about that, and you have all the wealth you could ever imagine. And this isn't some Shangri-La. This is reality. This is what's actually congealing and absolutely appearing and rising on the planet. So whatever you hear is the dark agenda trying to convince people that that's all poppycock, that's all crap, that was originally created by this and that was done by this. This is so far over-surpassing. It surpasses all of the stuff on this planet. I have seen a book that has 300 pages of zeros. The wealth on this planet is it's astronomical. It cannot be counted.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's just astronomical, folks, and it's just crazy that people are worried about lack of, because it's not going to be lack of, and all poverty, all pollution, everything. We have friends right now in the oceans, on the ocean floor, cleaning the oceans up right now, as we speak. So they aren't even.
Are they cleaning the plastic? Are they cleaning the plastic out of the ocean?
The plastic. They're cleaning the ocean floors. They're sealing up the crevices of the fissures with the toxic oils coming out that they haven't capped, that humanity hasn't capped. All the sewage and garbage that's being neutralized has been pumped into the oceans. All the floating islands. Watch what happens. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. They have already deployed the plastic disintegration machines that have already been pushed out into the oceans where the dead zones are, and where these floating islands, there's 7 or 8 of them, that are all going to be eradicated. They're all going to be gone. The dead zones in the ocean are going to be revitalized and reoxygenated, okay, so that the water will be pristine and clean. We'll have remediation that they'll be putting into the water that will set back the balance in the pH level of the water on the planet. We literally have trees coming back. We have 7% plus of trees growing on the planet. That's unbelievable because of the increased carbon dioxide. We are literally, the planet is revitalizing herself. But you don't hear that. You don't see that. You see all the crap and the garbage to keep you down and to keep you depressed and to keep you in fear. And that's all garbage. It's all garbage, period. And no matter how convincing it may seem, step away. Look at it, send it eternal love, walk right through it. You'll see how it'll just be a mirage that'll vaporize. And that's what this is about. Each and every single human on this call, all the people on this planet, no more enslavement, no more lies, no more deceit. We will live in a loving, eternal love environment, and we will assist and help each other and respect and honor each other for the next thousands and thousands of years. And we will
and no more disease. No more disease.
No, we will know our history. We will know our origins. We will.
Is aging a disease? Is aging a disease?
It's an illness.
Oh yeah.
It's an illness.
We'll be on a pristine Earth.
We'll be on a pristine Earth, which is already it's reforming now, which
right.
we don't hear about.
Jared?
We've got people that report in on a continual basis that tell us with their own cameras and everything, the atmosphere, the soil reconstruction, the ocean reconstruction. But all the humanity hears is the doom and gloom all the time. See, they'll kill people that try to get it out because they've done that. To several people I've known through the years, they kill them because they don't want them getting it out to the human race. So,
Jared.
Yes.
Jared, Byron here again. Listen, Sheldon Nidle's name has come up a bit, and I would venture to say that quite a few people on this call have heard of Sheldon. They've probably seen what he's put out. Usually on Golden Age of Gaia, he comes out. Well, anyway, I pre-seed his book with his permission back in 2006, and anybody who would like to get a copy of that, it's a 16-page pre-seed of a 330-page book that came out back in 2004 or 5 or whatever. So I pre-seed it. Sheldon approved it, and I would be very happy to send this off to anybody who would like to get an idea of what the Golden Age is about, and going back to, you used the term history recently, how everything started and what's ahead of us in this Golden Age. So if anybody would like to, they can take my email, which is star.33@bell.net, and I'll be more than happy to email them that book, that pre-seed.
Byron, offhand, does he have a conference call? Yes or no?
Sorry?
Does Sheldon do a conference call, yes or no?
No,
he does webinars.
Webinar.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, PAOW web. That's they call it PAO web. But anyway, if anybody would like to have this, I will be glad to send it off to them. star.33@bell.net. My name is Byron, and I will email it post haste.
If I can, let me just read a little bit from Sheldon's Earth as the showcase planet. From her beginnings, Gaia has been blessed.
Can you say that email address again, please?
Byron, give your email address out again.
Sure, star.33@bell.net.
So from her beginnings, Gaia has been blessed with a great prophetic destiny. This divine destiny, as prophesied by the archangels, was that Earth would one day have a great galactic civilization upon it. This future galactic society would be the divine one that would bring an end to the galactic wars and establish permanent galactic peace and unity. This galactic society would be composed of the souls of many great beings from all over the Milky Way galaxy. They would come together and pass through the final stages of a grand genetic experiment. Planet Earth and this solar system are therefore destined to become the meeting place for the entire galaxy. Earth Galactic Society would become the finest example of how galactic civilization serves the divine laws of the Creator. Gaia and her sacred children would teach many of the other star nations about how best to apply the divine laws of the universe. Earth would become a great meeting place and trade center for the exchange of all forms of innovative goods. It is for these reasons that it will truly become a showcase planet. Credit, Sheldon.
Yeah.
I was going to. I didn't know I had enough time. I was going to read my weekly message I get from Sheldon tonight, but it's 2 pages, so I didn't want to take that much more time. We can do that another time.
Yeah, we can do that on another call.
Sure.
We're gonna do probably another health call as well next week sometime. I haven't determined when, but the health call is specifically directed to assist people on being healthy, get their bodies back to a better frequency. So,
is there going to be a replay on that call?
On the one I'm going to do next?
No, on this one you're doing today.
Yeah, this one's being recorded. So this will be posted. I'll see if I'll post it tonight at IQD. They'll get it up and post it, and it'll be recorded for everybody to listen to.
And then you
can do one thing. If everyone would.
Will you send it out to everybody?
Yeah, it'll go out. It goes out on YouTube. You go to IQDcalls.com and you type in Jared Time for Change calls, and they're all there.
What is it? IQB?
IQD is in David.
Oh, IQD.
David. IQD calls, CALLS.
Okay.
.com.
.com. Okay, and then we'll get the replay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Jared. This is Bill out in Oregon. I got a question for you.
Sure.
This is a little off the subject of health. I've been enjoying all this conversation, though. I know Jim Leavitt. We're talking with him on the phone. Anyway, to make a long story short, I was just wondering when the exchanges happen. One of the things that kind of came to my mind is ID, because I know that if you have a U.S. passport, you're considered a U.S. citizen. So I was just kind of wondering if you have any ideas on what direction to take to become more, I don't know, immune, as a sovereign immune or something to that language, or a diplomat or whatever. I was just wondering if can relate to that.
Well, you're talking about proving who you are?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's just like a driver's license, and I heard, just to make a long story short, I heard that that when you exchange the Zen, that you're going to be some kind of a sovereign diplomat or something like that, and enable you to travel freely anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know.
You know, there's a lot of stuff flying around out there, has been for years, about this whole thing. But I'll tell you what, I'll simplify it for you. What you'll do is you'll go in, and as long as you have something like a birth certificate to prove that you're who you are, okay, and you have something with a picture on it, I don't even think they're going to require much. They're just going to want to know and identify you, so that, you know, you're not someone that knocked someone on the head in the parking lot and grabbed everything and came in and said, "This is who I am." So it's just basically a simplistic identification process that says, I mean, some people have a library card. This is who I am. I mean, you know, it's I've got a Sam's Club card or a Costco card, or you know, here's my electrical bill, and here's my driver's license, or here's my birth certificate. Some people don't drive; they don't have a driver's license. Okay. They don't drive.
Jared, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. What I was talking about or referring to was when you come out of it and begin anew, not when you go in, but after the fact, so you can travel freely to do projects and do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To travel by plane or travel by vehicle.
What's going to happen is that when the laws shift back to the common law and the law of the land in our country, we're not going to have passports, okay? That's the old concept. What you'll be able to do is you'll be able to travel wherever you want, whenever you want, period. You aren't going to have these restrictions laid upon you anymore, okay? The idea is to unify the planet. You can't unify the planet when you've got all these restrictions and stuff going on, okay? And so the governments all work together, serving the people, and you can basically go wherever you want to go, okay? There's a DNA structuring, which is basically from Creator, that connects all humanity. So if the people, if someone has malcontent or you know, a vindictive type of energy, it's automatically identified. And the people will not be allowed to hurt each other. So, you know, all of this stuff that's been created, gun running, smuggling, drugs, all of this stuff is going to be gone. So people will be able to travel wherever they want to travel. Period. All this. You'll have
freedom, Bill. You'll have freedom.
Yeah, you'll have freedom to go, you know, with good intentions and love, and go and help and assist, and you'll travel freely. You won't be You won't be an airplane. Eventually, the airplanes will be gone. The automobile will be gone. You will have anti-gravitic drive units, anti-gravitic drive scooters, anti-gravitic drive transports. You will have site-to-site transportation where you will materialize from A to B inside the cities. You will have freedom. You can fly off planet. You'll be able. You'll
have replicators.
You'll go through the solar system. You'll be able to travel light years in anti-gravitic drive systems. It's just a total paradigm shift, complete. None of the old attachments will exist anymore. They'll fall away. It'll be very quickly. It'll be quick. It's not going to be elongated or stretched out or dragged out for 50 years. It's just going to take place. It'll just be like, you know, human race they'll be debt-free, right? They'll be debt-free. They'll be, you know, eventually once we get everything out there, they'll be young. They'll be healthy. That we'll have nutrition plans for them. You know, they can, you know, with the replicators, no more stripping the land on the surface of the planet unless you want to do it as a hobby and have little micro farms. That the replicators will provide all the food that you could ever imagine, all clean, all organic, all nutritious,
no waste.
No waste whatsoever. So you won't have paper waste. You won't be chopping trees down. You won't be disturbing the surface of the planet. It's going to be. It's just. You know, the description is absolutely, unmitigatingly, just phenomenal shift, but they don't want anybody to know that. They just want everybody to say, oh, it's going to fall apart. Oh, everybody's going to crash and burn. Oh, it's just going to be horrible. Oh, we're going to have atomic bombs going off. Oh, the surface is going to be burned. All the bad guys are going to go underground, and they're all going to hide in their bunkers, and we're all going to die, and it's just going to be horrible, and we're going to be out of food. We're going to be shooting each other and everything. And it's just garbage. It's garbage is what it is. And
do you have any okay, go ahead.
The real thing here for everybody to know is that we're stepping from hell to heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
One important question I got to ask for the homeless, because they want to know, they're on conference calls, will they be able to do the bank exchange? Because the banks right now won't give them bank accounts due to Homeland Security.
Well,
that's bye-bye. That's bye-bye.
I'll give you an example, okay? If you walk in and you have a currency that's worth $50 million, do you honestly believe the bank's going to turn that person away?
No. No, I don't, but they're worried.
They don't have to worry.
I'll tell them thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. They aren't going to have to worry about that stuff. No.
Hey, Jared, I was just wondering, I know all this stuff that you said is really good and all. I was just wondering, at first, it's not going to happen all at once. So in the beginning, after the exchange, what would you recommend is what kind of passport just to begin with until we get to that point where we don't need one?
Eventually, we're not going to even need money.
Yeah, that's true. And the passport, you just get a regular passport. Just a regular. No big deal.
Passport's a passport. Yeah.
You renew it. It's about $137 to $200 to renew it. So.
Mm-hmm. Jared, could I tell you thank you for the meditation call? Yesterday, our Gulf Coast was spared a lot of damage. There was some, but it was very minimal. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of groups that have prayed and meditated collectively to assist with the elimination of severe damage of that storm, and you can see what happens. I mean, people have to understand that they've got to understand that we are the energy. That storm was created by machinery, and it is very much neutralized compared to what it could have been.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Won't the replicators obsolete the money system sooner or later?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. See,
and is Earth the only one with a money system right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I heard it was. I want to see if you agree that
Earth
it's true.
Earth is, in fact, Earth is one of the only planets that we live on the surface. See, most civilizations live underground because they don't want to deal with the storms and the havoc and all the crap that goes on that they have to deal with on the surface of their planets, so they live underground. We live on the surface, which is kind of crazy, but to us it isn't. And then on top of that, Earth is, with the replicators, we won't be stripping the land. We won't be burning wood. We won't be making paper pulp for paper towels and all of that crap. We won't be doing any of that anymore. So
if we want a lasagna dinner, all we have to say is, I want a lasagna dinner. It'll be there.
Yeah, or I want a vegan. I want a vegan lasagna dinner.
Oh, Jared, I would like to tell you something. When I was up in Alaska, a master sergeant came and got me, and we went up the highway on Fort Richardson Highway, and they had turret guns all camouflaged all over the highway. And when we got to the gate in Guycona, Alaska, they had antennas that were 1,700 feet high, and when we went in, he had a pass, and so we went in, and they closed the gate. We went in, and we saw these buildings, great big buildings, and this was in 1953. I saw computers that were from 12 to 14 feet in length. and they were controlling the weather.
Yep.
Underneath the sea, everything. Yep. It was all machine control.
Yep. That's exactly right. People don't realize how long they've been controlling things.
I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because the people think that, snow's controlled. Rain's controlled.
It's all controlled.
Yep.
Yep. I saw it with my own eyes. That's why I'm 92, so I can actually tell those things.
And that's it's a great value that you're with us, because there's things that you've experienced and seen that others haven't, that you can share with the others so that we can balance out our energy and understand and get a much better comprehension. See, that's why I believe that the bodies that have aged on this planet that are still with us are vessels of knowledge that they carry with them. Instead of, society putting them in an old folks' home to rot and die, we should be doing everything we can to revitalize them and bring them back to perfect health, and honoring them and respecting them, no matter if they're relatives, because they're all relatives, they're all brothers and sisters. And that should be done without question, without anything. And you can see the dysfunctionalism of the governments on this planet that literally could give a rat's ass about the people. And that's what's going to change, period.
Amen.
Once we understand that every one of us, is a power cell of divine energy, divine plasma energy. We are a power cell. And what we're experiencing here, we've been literally closed off and totally confused, misdirected to believe that we're nothing, that we're lowlifes, that we don't deserve to be happy, that we don't deserve to live lavish, wonderful lives. And it's the opposite of what we should be understanding, is that we will. And that's what's coming. And it's just right on the horizon. It's just a very exciting time to be here. We all chose to be here. We're all on this call together, and we're expanding and rising. So, period. So what I like to do now is I'm just gonna send out from Prime Source Creator God to each and every one of you. You can feel it as it comes out. It is a heart of eternal energy that bathes you from head to toe and saturates your entire physical body and connects directly with your higher self, your God spark, to re-energize and to envelop you in pure, eternal love for the rest of your existence. Throughout this night, flashes of pink, gold, and white, and emerald green light, and purple transmuting light reflecting and embracing you as you slumber throughout the evening and wake to a happiness that you've not experienced in that particular body since you've been here.
Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you.
3 hours
you, brother.
33 minutes.
Good night, all.
That is you.
Help the world.
Thank you.
Eternal love. God bless each and every one.
God bless. Bye-bye.